First time meeting you, and I've met Asium, who has become a brother and a friend. I call him the pilot friend. And over the period, a number of people have shown keen interest in flying, but they don't know how. They don't know where to start from. They don't know how to even have this conversation with the right person to talk to. And we are so delighted to have you here. We know you are pilots. First, introduce yourself to us, then we take from there.
Yeah, I'm Captain GHOne Jones. I started flying when I was 16, actually 15. I soloed when I was 16. Went off to the United States Air Force Academy, flew some there. Flew in the Air Force for 9.5 years. Then I joined a major airline and have been flying with them for about 33 years. So I've flown a wide variety of aircraft, from 737, the Airbus 320, the Boeing 747-400, the Boeing 777, and the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. So that's pretty much it.
Asium, tell us briefly about yourself.
Asium GHOne is my name. I started flying in fact, I got my pilot's license in 2001 for my pilot's license. Got my commercial in 202. Finished my training in 203. Came back to fly in Ghana. Started off at CTK. I was commissioned to start a flight school. Did a bit of instruction, did a bit of charter, and then I moved on to fly Amtrak. I flew Amtrak for over 2 years. Moved to Nigeria to fly MD-80s in Nigeria. Moved to Mali for another 2.5 years. Came back to Ghana to fly the ATR 72, and then I moved on to Indonesia. I was based in Bali, Indonesia for 2 years. After that, I proceeded to India for a year and then moved back to the US. Flew the regionals for a bit and then eventually got picked by a legacy where I've been flying now. I've flown the LET 410, the ATR, the MD-80, 737, and now I'm on the 787 Dreamliner, doing mostly transatlantic flights.
That's quite a tall one. GHOne, how do you describe the skies in probably one sentence?
It's home.
The sky is home.
Yes. It's once you get in the air, it's actually a lot safer than driving. It's my home away from it.
People do say this a lot, that the sky is quite safer than the roads we have. How do you explain that to a child?
Well, you have a big sky. On roads, everyone's on particular roads. Now, we do have roads in the sky, but we have a lot of rules. And until really you get into the approach phase, going into an airport where a lot of aircraft are converging, you have to be really alert. And then during takeoffs, really
those are the two most, critical points in flying.
Yeah.
The landing that we would use loosely, landing and takeoff.
Yeah. Basically, anytime you're below about 10,000 feet, you really have to be aware, because there are lots of aircraft around you. But once you get up to cruise altitude, we have instruments on board that warn us when other aircraft are approaching us. And so we have clearances where air traffic control ensures that we're on a safe corridor and there's no conflicting aircraft. And then, of course, you look out your window and avoid traffic that way. But really, once you get up to cruise, once you get above 10,000 or 18,000 feet, flying is substantially safer
over
driving.
Over 30 years of flying, what would you say has been the most exciting moments for you? If you can share some two significant experiences.
I would. You have moments. I remember my first solo when I was 16 years old. That was a really, really high moment. Even though I was in a little Cessna 152, my first jet solo was really, really amazing. I flew in support of Operations Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I flew cargo, supporting our men and women under arms. That was, exciting. And then you have other moments where one night flying from San Francisco to Sydney, as we were approaching the equator, you could see...
Sydney in Australia, right?
Yes, okay. Sydney, Australia. It's late at night, and about 10 to 15 degrees either side of the equator, something called the Intertropical Convergence Zone. It's like a permanent band of weather. And looked out the window, and you could see lightning from horizon to horizon. Dangerous. We can avoid. We have weather radar to avoid it, but it was quite a sight, and I'll never forget it.
Where did you at that point? What really was the moment for you? Is this going to be some kind of emergency?
No, not an emergency. We just make certain everyone's seated. Flight attendants will put everything away, and then we use our weather radar to avoid the weather. But still, it's quite a sight to see as the clouds from horizon to horizon, and the lightning goes from cloud to cloud to cloud.
It's a different experience,
yes.
Most part, from what you taught in geography.
Okay.
The academic stuff and really experience it
yes.
are two things apart. The lived experience, and this is, I can relate, where he's actually there and seeing it. For me, I say what flying has given me is actually living it. You learn history about places and people, but the learned experience is always different from the lived experience. So someone says, "Oh, I know about this country," whilst they've never lived there, you can't really take what they say. The person who's lived it actually has experienced it and has gotten something that one who has even read so much about hasn't got. So the lived experience, that's what this profession gives. It gives you that lived.
He's about to retire very soon.
Yes.
You have some years ahead of you. What would you say you are anticipating in the years ahead?
Well, in the years ahead, this career is seen as so glamorous. People don't think you have any problems. Our profession as pilots, especially for folks like GHOne, who have lived it, have seen a lot of ups and downs. There are times that you go many months, many years without a paycheck. You are laid off, your jobs collapse. I've flown, as late as I started flying, at least 4 of the companies I've worked for are no more. They've shut down. And there are people who were in employment at the time when the companies shut down. So now, hopefully it's good, and we pray that it continues this way. But
what really will be the message to the youngsters who are looking up to, the likes of pilots, who want to be in the air someday, want to fly like GHOne, going on retirement very soon? What message are you leaving with the young ones?
If you look up into the sky and you have a feeling, an urgent, pressing feeling, that's where you want to be, then get into aviation. And that's the only reason, really, if you have a passion for it. Because, as Asu said, the industry can be quite rough. Economically, it's very economically sensitive. So, fortunately, I was never furloughed. I came close. So I was blessed not to be furloughed. But the average commercial airline pilot will spend some years on furlough. So the road may be much more challenging than you initially anticipate. So only go into it if you have a passion for it. And if you have a passion for it, no one can keep you away from it.
Let's trace your background a little bit. We just assume every black is African. So I see you with my brother. He's a Ghanaian.
Yes.
Can you tell us which part of the world are you from and how did you really get to where you live?
I live in Maryland now, which is on the east coast of the United States. I was born in a smaller, state of Missouri. My dad's been a career in the Marine Corps. So when he returned from his last tour in Vietnam, we moved to Southern California, and I lived in Los Angeles. And I lived there until I went off to college. So
you are strictly American.
Yes.
Do you, by chance, trace your roots to any part of Africa?
My wife and I have done the DNA test, and as close as we can find somewhere, it's in West Africa. But that's true of almost all African Americans. We came from West Africa.
We are brothers. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
We are one people, really.
Yes.
Let's talk about the near-to-death experience. Have you ever had any?
I really wouldn't say near death. Every pilot is going to have a moment that catches your breath, but that comes along maybe every 6 or 7 years. Just something happens that was anticipated. You're about to land, and at the last moment you see someone on the runway, so you go around. But really, since leaving the military, none.
No.
None. Commercial aviation is incredibly safe.
How many times are you going to fly before you go on retirement? And
one more trip.
I want to tie that into the fact that how does it feel like flying? We are told ABC, all black crew.
Yes.
How does it feel like?
Great, especially flying gentlemen like Asu. But it's extraordinarily rare because there are very, very few of us as a percentage of the total pilot population.
Are the opportunities within the space so slim for people of color, or is it just the fact that those who have passion for it are just not there?
Well, it's a wide variety of things. I think the biggest factor is just exposure. I was exposed to aviation by my dad was a Marine Corps search and rescue crew chief, flying crew chief. He was a infantry.
You're welcome of GH Today here on GHOne TV, and I am Lily Mohammed. This day we fondly remember Nana Kunedu Agyemang Rawlings, and we say that may her gentle soul rest in peace. She passed last Friday, There's been a lot of, last Thursday, I beg your pardon, there's been a lot of tributes pouring in for her. And then we also know that there are some schools that are making noise. One in particular is the Mauli School. Congratulations to them on their anniversary. They dominated the airwaves both on traditional and on social media over the weekend, and there's a lot to celebrate with them. I know some people who now say that they want to associate as a former Maulian. That's quite an interesting one anyway. And over the weekend as well, EIB Network won big at the Eminent Awards. So congratulations to all of us. I won, my producer won, the producer for the morning show on radio won, Nadidi Teti won, Joshua Kujumensa won, even on Kasapa, Ekuya Sunto and Eugene Ba, they equally won. So congratulations to all of us. And this is a sign that whatever it is that we are doing, somebody somewhere is watching. So we'll not rest on our oars. Let me start by motivating you this morning. Our motivation this morning is by Henry Ford, who says, hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Hustle beats talent. You may have the talent. So like what happened over the weekend, all of us have talents, but in the end, we put in the hustle, and that hustle was rewarded. So that's our way of motivating you this morning. Even though you have the talent, you need to put that talent to use. You need to go out there and hustle. And while hustling, make sure that you're hustling smartly. Let me help you improve your English language writing and speaking. Can't see the extra tall man.
Today's word, capricious, capricious. It's an adjective. Someone who is capricious often changes their mind unexpectedly and suddenly. Let's exemplify it. People didn't like to work with the previous supervisor because he was capricious. Capricious.
Capricious. Add it to your vocabulary. Every morning here on the show, we help you speak better English and, of course, write better English. Let me pump you up. I know it's quite a lazy morning. The skies are not too clear, depending on where you are in the country. It's a lot of you are reeling from your enjoyment over the weekend, especially those of you who attended Mauli. Yeah, I know that you'll be struggling to wake up, but let me pump you up as you go out there and earn your keep. God. Against for your bag. Let's head to court. So if you don't understand that Manchester United fans have a miracle working God, you can simply head to the court. Captain, good morning.
Good morning. You see here, I'm just looking at you. I'm just looking at you in two separate ways. First one is to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Nadi Tete.
Thank you.
Ibrahim Al-Hassan, Joshua Kojo-Mensah, Sonto.
Yeah.
Asapa, and then Eugene, all of you did are so proud of picking up awards over the weekend. How was it like picking up an award? I know it's not your first time.
Yes.
And all of that.
You know,
adding more to your already.
It just goes a long way to say that whatever that you're doing, somebody is watching.
Absolutely.
And people appreciate what you do. Sometimes, you know, as human as we are, you want to say that I'm not appreciated enough, and but you actually think it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah. And I think that is the energy that keeps driving you. You still want to give more.
Exactly.
And then when a moment like this comes, I think that is worth celebrating. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
And then the other leg of the eye that I was just looking at you is about how all of a sudden a certain United people think that the whole world should bow before them. We agree, because it's been a while. You enjoyed 3 wins in a row. 3 wins in a row. For some of us from the Emirates, it's normal. So we just have to. Good morning to all Liverpool fans and Chelsea fans and Manchester City fans. I'm not connoting anything. I'm only greeting you.
Well, yes. Good morning to all of you. We are the best, at least for now. Clack it.
And just one more. Phobia, at least. We are unbeaten in the season. We couldn't do it. But some people went to Morocco.
Can you imagine?
And they came with
and
six.
They met. Meanwhile, they want to call themselves champions when you cannot beat the champions.
Anyway. Fans, good morning.
Anyway, what's up and call this morning?
Yes, Lily. I'm taking you back to Friday. In fact, your intro, you did acknowledge the fact that we lost a very big personality. We lost somebody growing up. This is a woman that I know. This is a woman that I know has been championing the cause of women. And one unique thing that you can always associate her to or with is from respect of her, what do you call it? Her duku.
Yes. Her tie.
Absolutely. She has a unique way. And in fact, she's inspired a lot of women, a lot of generations and all of that. And so unfortunately, last Thursday, she passed on and all of that. And institutions are paying tributes and all of that. The judiciary had not been left out. The acting Chief Justice, let's have the statement from the judiciary signed by the acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, also extending the tribute to the family and all of that. And I'll take you through the excerpts of the statement from the judicial service signed by the Honorable Chief Justice. In fact, he signed this very tribute that came out on the Friday, and he said that a message of condolence from the acting Chief Justice, the judiciary, and the judicial service of Ghana. The acting Chief Justice, the entire judiciary, and the judicial service of Ghana wish to extend their deepest condolences to the family and children of the late former First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Mrs. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was a woman of remarkable vision, courage, and conviction. Throughout her public life, she championed the cause of women and children, tirelessly advocating for gender equality and social justice. Her impactful work through the 31st December Women's Movement stands as a testament to her enduring commitment to women and children's empowerment as well as national development. Then the statement went on to say that while her passing marks the end of an era, her influence will continue to resonate in the hearts of countless Ghanaians whose lives she touched through her service, passions, and leadership. The judiciary joins the family of the late President Jerry John Rawlings, their children, and all Ghanaians in mourning this painful loss. We pray that the Almighty God grants comfort to the bereaved family and eternal rest to a gentle soul. And this is signed by the acting Chief Justice. Rather a painful one indeed. And it is worth celebrating that the judiciary as an institution is also adding its voice to that. So this one is from the office of the Chief Justice and signed by the acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni. That was not all, and Lily. The office of the Attorney General, the Attorney General himself, Dr. Dominic Ayine, also was at the residence of the former First Lady, the late former First Lady. Let's hear what he has to say when we engaged him.
That is a big loss to this country. If you talk about women's rights in Ghana, you cannot leave out the record of Her Excellency Nana Konadu Rawlings. During the time that she was the First Lady under the PNDC, she was the one who championed the interstate succession law, which is the law that regulates, the distribution of property upon the death intestate of, a spouse. I did not have personal contact with her very often, but I remember distinctly my mother was a 31st December Women's Movement member. And for me, watching her on television, organize women, mobilize them, to take very transformative action, to change the lives of women in rural Ghana and so on. For me, that is what stands out.
So that is Dr. Dominic Ayine, the Attorney General, also giving some memories about the former First Lady. But Lydia, I'm going to ask you as a person, how did she change? What have you learned from this woman, the former First Lady?
For a lot of us young women who call ourselves advocates.
Gender advocates.
Yes, not just gender, but advocates for rights, She's one of the few people who blazed the trail.
Absolutely.
Who taught women that I am a woman in my own right.
She's not only scratching the surface.
Exactly, regardless of who my husband is. And for somebody who helped a lot of us gain voices in society.
And you mentioned the husband, and I think that she appears to be somebody who didn't just follow the husband like the former First Lady.
Like a regular First Lady.
Somebody can say she really went down of even trying to provoke things to happen.
Yes,
that's how I see it.
She was a change maker.
All right.
Yeah, and she'll be fondly remembered, When I was told that she died, you remember I posted...
Yeah. When I saw the post, I was like...
When I got the information, I had to take a moment and take it in.
Trying to assimilate and trying to understand what indeed has happened.
So I went back to my phone. I was like, did I read right?
It was painful. I remember when I saw that particular post from you, and I was like, what's happening? I was just sitting right in the court, above the court that she normally would appear. I told you about the fact that she has a case in court, normally within one of the general jurisdictions. And then I was just sitting directly up above the court that she had me, and that's really hit me so hard and all of that. But that is nature, and that's how God has created for all of us. May her gentle soul
rest in peace. Disappointed unto man today.
Yeah, I think the president declared a 3-day National Day of Mourning and all of that.
Yesterday.
Absolutely, and all of that. So that is it for within the justice delivery system. They are also paying tribute to that. I'm taking it back to Abisim.
The footballer.
Yes, so on your screens now is Richard Appiah in the middle, always in red, wearing red jalabia and all of that. So the story is simple. He's in charge for 2 counts of murder of 2 teenagers somewhere in Abisim. One of them was 12 years and the other 15. As we speak, he's pleaded not guilty. His lawyers makes the point that yes, he's guilty but insane. That kind of line of submission that have been made. Prosecution has called 6 witnesses to close their case. The court has found as a fact that a case has been made, prima facie, has been established by prosecution by way of calling witness. And as you can see on your screens, that's one of the family members of one of the deceased, the one whose body part was dismembered, in fact, very painful one, leading and stored in a refrigerator. Forgive me this morning for these words that I'm using. And the day that the trial began and they came to court to testify was when they were having interaction in the premises of the law court complex and all of that. So now, Justice Ruby Ayiti has ordered Richard Appiah to open his defense and respond to the charges that have been leveled against him, 2 counts of murder, because the victims are 2 and all of that. So on the 30th of October, he's expected in court for the court to hear his side of the story. And remember that I told you about the fact that the parents were of the view that he was into rituals, trading in human parts just for human rituals and all of that. So they believe that he killed the children allegedly to use body part for some rituals and all of that. So it's a case that we'll keep following. So on the 30th, it will come up and we'll see the story or the statement, what her own responses will be in relation to the charges that have been leveled against. That's on Wednesday? Yeah, that'll be on Wednesday. Okay. 30th, I think it's on Thursday.
Today's 27th.
Yeah, 30th.
Okay, so that'll be a Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. 30th is a Thursday. So Thursday we'll be in court to hear from him. Yeah.
What's coming up today?
Yes, Millennium City.
The Kaswa murder.
I'm just trying so hard not to mention Kaswa, but I still have to mention. I still have to mention Kaswa. So Millennium City, a servant of Kaswa. Yes, where Ben Lord Abibu is accused of killing.
He's the self-styled chief?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's a self-styled chief. And then he's been accused of killing a military officer over a dispute over land and all of that. He's pleaded not guilty as we speak. He's still in lawful custody. Prosecution, the trial has begun. Prosecution led by Dufie Prempe, principal state attorney, is calling witnesses to prove that, yes, indeed, it was Ben Lord Abibu who killed the military officer in question. So today, they will be before Justice Kizita Nako Akwashi for proceedings of the day, the witnesses to come and continue with their testimony. And at the end, the court will decide whether, when prosecution close their case, the court will decide whether there's a case for the accused person to answer. He's in court together with one other to the charge of murder, and we'll see that when it comes back today. That case is also coming up, so we'll be following that, and then we'll update you on Newsroom as when there's something to update you on. So possibly tomorrow when we appear here, we'll give you more update as to what happened in court. So that will be all for court today this morning.
Absolutely. Captain, thank you very much. That should do for courts this morning. Let's tell you what the sports world is up to.
Kwame and his uncle are
Maoli guys would not let us rest. Good morning, Jones.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm in high spirits.
I can see that.
But then, first of all, I want to celebrate you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why are you?
Midas.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Tomorrow we'll show our viewers why
Yes,
we are
yes.
congratulating you.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Thank
not
you.
easy. Congratulations. So please.
Thank you. But congratulations
Yeah.
to Maoli School
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
75 years is no mean feat.
No mean fit.
Yeah.
And yesterday, on Saturday, guess who I met?
Oh, that's our HR shoot.
That's our
Yeah,
HR. Yes. Director, show them.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So I was just moving about and so HR. I said, yes, Jones. I said, no.
Oh, that's a good
It
one.
was
That's a good one.
brilliant. And
Good morning, Auntie Dorcas.
yes,
Good morning.
yes. Have you Maoli School? We've made
But
our
you guys really dominated. Even with the rains.
Oh no. Oh, the rains couldn't stop us. Man.
I hear people did some things.
No, we didn't do anything.
The
Maoli
rains
means God is with us. And God was with us.
Okay.
He is with us. He was with us. He will be with us. So we are moving forward.
Head, heart, hand.
Head, heart, hand. You see, you now people know about us. Effortlessly, they know about us. And so with that, a message to Maolians.
Okay.
Please, we are not done celebrating. From now to 31st December, we'll press their necks.
Hey.
Tell them about Maoli School. Bring your kids to Maoli School. Okay? It's the best school. We are not comparing ourselves to anyone. We are telling you that we are the best. And to all Maolians, make sure that when you go to work, just like me, wear a cap, put on the cloth.
Hey, me too, no.
Tomorrow, I'll put on my shirt. On Wednesday, I'll use the cloth. We'll show them that we are Maoli School.
Hey.
Yes. Now let's move to Manchester United.
It's been back-to-back wins over the weekend. My goodness.
It's Chelsea lost.
You know, when you are on a Bonkele team, this is what happens. When people are celebrating, you must celebrate.
And with that, good morning to Lantam. I told Lantam that you should have faith in Amorim.
Amorimbo. You know.
And I'll tell you about in all that. But then let's start off with Kotoko. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, which
you know. You want to compare yourself to a Hearts. Come on.
Oh, don't do
You
that.
cannot even go over the shores of Ghana and you did it.
No.
You know, please.
Oh.
We are definitely the masters. Are you kidding me?
It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
I said and Kotoko actually lost 5-1.
Can you match?
To WAC of Morocco in the second leg of that tie there. And I mean, it means that they are out. And then we also understand in the team. So Kumasi Asante Kotoko, I lost over. Yes, has left Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That's the breaking news after with that athletic club. Now let's move on to the Ghana Premier League. Interesting result. Accra folks still unbeaten, but then before that, Kpando of Lions beats Basake Oli Stars 3-0. And then Aduana Stars beat Dreams by 1-0. Kerala United 2, Bechim United 0. Nations FC 3, 11-1. There's 2. Young Apostles and Bekum Chelsea settled for a 1-1 draw. Samatex beat Hohwe 2-0. Midiama also beat Swede All Blacks by 1-0. And Accra folk, Bibiani Gold Stars played out a 2-2 draw. Finally, Accra folk have conceded a goal. I mean, after 7 games.
You know, sometimes in life,
you
just want your opponents to feel that, you two, you are doing something. Yes. You cannot always be. See,
so that's why you guys
among your friends, if you are the one who is constantly winning, there's too much attention on you. Sometimes allow somebody to win, that they feel that, they're today and they're small. You understand?
Let's look at the Premier League table in the Ghana Premier League because, of course, the likes of Accra folk have now moved up the ladder there. And then when you see the bottom 3, Dreams FC 11-1, SM Basake Oli Stars languishing at the bottom of the Ghana Premier League table. Let's move to the English Premier League where IB's Chelsea, the Blues. When he comes, you talk to him and classes to him.
That's why these days the sky is refusing to be blue. It's like it continuously rains. My darling.
Hey, you people. Anyway, we'll start with Chelsea. We'll skip the other ones because Chelsea were at home. They scored in the 4th minute, but then they still lost that game to Sunderland, who are coming from the Championship. Don't forget that Chelsea do have 6 Premier League titles. Sunderland also have 6 Premier League titles, so they are at par. No wonder. Manchester United, who have 20 Premier League titles, we beat Brighton by 4-2. Yes, you heard it right. Brentford also beat Liverpool. Liverpool also there, 3-2. And then let's move to another one. Of interest, Bournemouth beats Forest by 2-0. Arsenal beat Crystal Palace. They are still on top of the table. Aston Villa surprisingly beat Man City by 1-0. And Mohammed Kudus's Tottenham Hotspur beat Everton away. Let's look at the Premier League table and how things are looking like. Arsenal on top with 22 points. Bournemouth second with 18 points. Spurs third with 17 points. Sunderland are fourth with 17 points. Manchester City are fifth with 16 points. United, yes, Manchester United are sixth with 16 points. And I can't see Chelsea. You can't see Chelsea. They are down. They are ninth. Chelsea are ninth.
Is there a number 9 somewhere? I can't see. Oh, I'm not sure I can see it.
Are they full number 9? So Liverpool 7 with 15 points. Aston Villa 8 with 15 points. And then, of course, Chelsea 9 with 14 points. Palace 10th with 13 points. And then El Clasico also happened over the weekend. Our director is a Barcelona fan. She's in pain. They lost yesterday.
Premium pains.
Yeah. They lost yesterday to Real Madrid by 2-1. A lot of chaos in that game. Mbappe got a goal, and of course we saw Firmino getting the equalizer before the Jude Bellingham getting the final say in the first half. In the second half, there were no goals, but trust me, it was a brilliant game with a lot of drama. Finally, let's end off with Benjamin Asari. The Swagger Awards will be happening, and Benjamin Asari has been nominated as Footballer of the Year, home-based Footballer of the Year, and of course the likes of Steven Amankona and then Razak Simpson have also been nominated, and then of course we would see that happening. So Swag, 50 years.
My bet is on Benjamin Asari.
Hey,
of course.
How much will you put on him?
Hearts of folk. What else are you expecting? My darling.
Anyway, congratulations to Simpson, Amankona, and Benjamin Asari. We'll give you details of the Swag Awards. Do join Monica and then Joel for the game today at exactly 1 p.m. And of course, my name is Jones Saidi Zedai, and saying a Mauli good morning to you. And of course, we're outside.
Anyway, let's head to Inside Out. In this country, we major in the minors and minor in the majors. Somebody says, I am going to secondary school. There's a code of conduct. There's a uniformity clause. You have accepted. You've gone according to the dictates of that uniformity clause. You're going to school. You cut your hair. Somebody is crying. And the whole country is up in arms. Are we serious as a country? If you are a parent, I have seen a number of parents throwing about words on social media, and we need to move on as a country and do that. You as a parent, when you were in secondary school, did your mother, some of us, after primary school, our parents cut off our hair in the instance that it will distort our studies. Because imagine coming home from school, having extra classes, and afterwards, instead of going to eat and sleep, you now have to go to the salon. And in today's Ghana, you have to queue to get your hair done. Or maybe a parent will have to pay extra for a hairstylist to come home, style the hair, the time it will take, the toll on the child. Do you know how many children cry when you take them to the salon? Sometimes in the pain, parents decide that let's cut off the hair so the child can have a rest. Come on. In today's Ghana, when our roads are terrible, see me too, because the roads can shift my womb. Our health facilities are deteriorating. La Hospital has still not been constructed. We are not bothered. Galamsey is killing us. We are not bothered. This is what we want to talk about. That as a country, we don't have anything that bothers us. A lot of us are able to afford 3 square meals in a day. You didn't mean by heart that the government should allow parents and children to keep their hair in school. See, when you go to Rome, you do what Romans do. I have seen some people banding about pictures of the white children when they're coming and we allow them to keep their hair in their countries. Do you think when they are going to school, they wear uniforms? Yet when they come to Ghana, they conform. Because in our schools, we wear uniform. When you take your children abroad, go and tell the educational system there that in Ghana, we wear uniform. So I want my ward to wear uniform. See, let us as a country move away from unnecessary trivialities. And a child is crying, and the parents had an option. Take them to a Cambridge school. They can keep their hair. Why take them to a school that has conformity clauses? Abby, like, this country, good morning. We are not serious.
Lily, yes.
And I have seen some people trying to politicize, trying to paint the political colors here and there.
Yeah.
When you're serious on home.
Yeah.
MPP and NDC. Everything you want to politicize is haba. We don't have good roads. Water. Because of Galamsey, we are struggling with water. Some facilities have been shut down. You are not up in arms. You are not crying. You are not crying as... See, by now, as a country, we should put our hands here and be wailing. Because if care is not taken, we'll have to import water. And do you know how much that will cost you as a taxpayer? You as a taxpayer, all you are concerned about is, allow my children to have their hair in school. Allow children to be children. We are here complaining about discipline in schools because we have taken away capital punishment. We say we should not cane our children. Now the children are misbehaving. You, the parents, you are crying. Me, a journalist, I'm crying. We should add hair to it. I know some of you will throw about your wits and go on social media and rant. I don't care. But the law is the law. This is what our books say. And we will go according to it stricto sensu. If you do not want it, take your children to Cambridge schools.
Well, so, Lily, there is a reason why uniformity is very important in our senior high schools, right? And that's because just as Mr. Mponsa, who is quite wealthy's daughter and son, can be in Achimota, Adwomenu's daughter and then also son can equally be in the same school. And so if we say that you are allowed to sport whatever hair style that you want, chances are the rich family members will be able to give you many other things to adorn your hair with. And that will impact on the environment that is meant to be very conducive for studies. Instead of you to pay attention to your books, you'll be looking at hairstyles and which one to sport next when you next visit your salon or whoever braids your hair for you.
And that will also be a challenge for parents. Exactly. Now you have to look for salons that are close by. And schools will now have to put salons in the various campuses. And children will use the excuse of, they're supposed to go for prep. Their hairs, they're not done braiding their hair. Why are you not at prep? I was braiding my hair.
That's one.
See, I wanted to use a certain one.
You also know that when ladies attend to their hair, they don't bath in the hair over a period. So just picture
a whole week or say 2 weeks of young girls who are supposed to get education haven't braided their hair, and as a result, for that 2 weeks, water doesn't touch the hair.
Oh, even that honestly is not an excuse. I see people who braid their hair for a month and they keep it well.
I get it.
However,
so what do you use in keeping it well? So it means that as children, they will have to go to school, those things that they will use in keeping the hair tidy, not smelly, and well, as you talk about.
Exactly.
That's one. Two, see, we call something stages in life. And that's what makes leaving a senior high school quite interesting, because young girls feel like, okay, so we're now done with basic education. We can move on, and as part of the moving on, they can sport whatever hairstyle that they want.
When I was going to complete my secondary school, I used to say, shit, I mean, school, today, as an adult, the last time I checked, I barbed my hair, I shaved my hair.
That's the point.
Because what is the point in it?
Now, I've read what Tyrone Magai put out there, and I think he's missing the point. The Rasta...
That boy...
We all fought for him, and there's a reason
that boy, the least said about him, the better. This country all rally behind you, we are fighting for you. You are...
Because he's comparing apples to oranges.
To oranges?
The judgment that came said, for religious reasons, if you say that your religion dictates that you spot this hair, be allowed to.
We need to allow you.
And even in the judgment, it talks about the debate we are having today. So let's assume that they just want to spot Afro. Everybody in the school spotting Afro, which is not controlled. Right. Mind you, when these rules were brought in, we had issues with lies. They don't remember. So just imagine a school of children sporting Afro across board, and they don't keep them neat, and what that will mean for the environment there.
When you go to secondary schools, there's in Sonkonsu.
Exactly.
And I will have to contend with a J.
Yes.
People are not serious as a country.
Now, Magai has written copiously about his experience, the fact that he's not defined by his hair and what have you. I agree with that. In fact, in the same vein, I stood here and then questioned why we're not allowing young Muslim girls to wear their veils in school, because it's religious identity. That should be allowed. But what we are talking about here has got nothing to do with religion. It's about kids who are going to get education in senior high schools. And the education minister says the regulation, and it's always been there, sport a short, well-kempt hair. How difficult
Rules
would that be?
matter. There's a reason they are put in there. Like, you know, imagine me as a journalist. I cannot just walk to the bank and say that I'm a Ghanaian, so give me money.
Yes. There are rules. Once you have to have an account there, you have to have money in the account. You have.
Do you think even the legal profession, they allow certain hairstyles?
They don't.
And why you gonna think when
Exactly.
Do you understand? See,
UPSC.
And I saw that people were saying that you are not defined by your dressing. You are defined.
You are.
You are defined by the way you look.
Actually, you are.
Looks matter.
They do.
Imagine going to visit a secondary school with various hairstyles. Come on.
See, and you hit the nail right on the head when you said children must be allowed to be children. As we speak, junior high school kids are using contraceptives. And this is a story we've told you on this platform. We've told you a story about junior high school kids using contraceptives. Some are bleaching. You want us to add on to this by allowing them to keep long hairs. Because in our local environment, in our setting, if you are allowed to perm your hair, to many people, it's a sign of maturity. And that's how come when they complete senior high school and they come home, the very first thing they want to do is, let's change our hairstyle. Let people know that we are mature. Right.
What shows that, I mean, you're coming out. See, it's beautiful when you are done with secondary school and you have your hair done. Yeah. It shows that you are ready to go into the world because now you are deemed mature, like you said. And you have the finances
to
take care of it.
Yeah.
Imagine a mother who has to go to the farm to fend for her children. Maybe she doesn't have a husband. Her husband has passed on, unfortunately. And she has 3 daughters. And all of them will go to secondary school. And now we say we need to braid your hair. And the children go to school. They are calling their poor mother, Ratma, yes, and
and that breeds discontentment, right? And then that's a headache to this widow.
It affects them, their psyche in school.
Exactly. And those needless competitions. In fact, as we speak, the reason why you are not allowed to sew your uniform elsewhere rather than in the school is uniformity. Otherwise, you have no idea the styles that the kids will come to school with. So there's a reason. There's a reason why even the footwear is prescribed.
Then, see, if we are going to allow her, then let's allow a free for all. Yes.
That's it.
Let's allow everybody. Free for all. You want to go to school, you can wear my moccas and go to school. You can wear nails and go to school. You can wear makeup and go to school. Why are we allowing things that are unnecessary to dominate our lives? Very needless conversations about the hair. We've had this thing since time immemorial.
And this we catch feelings easily.
Over trivialities.
See, and of course, and I can tell you this video. I can tell you that the father is threatening to take on the barber, the one who videoed this young girl, because it was done without the approval of the parents. It is a minor, right? It is a minor. So you cannot tell me that the parents do not agree that her hair should be trimmed. They agree.
Yes.
Because they want her to go to Yasantua Girls Senior High School. And, newsflash, the dictate is that you keep a short hair there. So you either forgo this, and then go to another school. Because even in those private schools, right, they still have regulations relative to the hairstyles you can sport. Even though you are paying, they have regulations. So we beg you people, you see. We know social media is in a frenzy, and of course, people are calling the education minister names and what have you.
The things we are supposed to be crying over. Galam say, serious. I've seen that guy in Aburuchi, the guy that says that passport is better than PhD. Then see, and it's same conversation, comparing apples to oranges.
They are sporting their natural hairs.
And he was even comparing the education minister's wife. That why people, if it is about hair, why is your wife sporting Brazilian hair and instead of sporting a natural hair? Ignorance. You see, one go school. Why do you go? Ignorance. This is why somebody will say that paper is better than education.
Because that's not the argument. The argument is about kids in school and what they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do, right? The argument is about the discipline in our schools. So if there's any layer that will demand discipline of our kids, yes, instead of you adding on, you want us to remove those layers. Like you mentioned, we said, let's copy from the whites, let's copy from the West. Capital punishment, no. See what our kids are doing.
Yes, they are wielding guns, machetes in school.
Yeah. Let's open the Pandora. Next they will ask that we allow kids to enhance their bodies.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, because they are right. They want to enhance their bodies.
Very soon, we even say we shouldn't restrict them. Boarding school, allow them to go out when they want and come back when we want. We are just not a serious country. Ghana, yes, serious. That should do for Inside Out. Let's look at what the newspapers are reporting.
Limo, minority blows alarm over unapproved government programs. And of course, so the program says what's the name? The 24-hour economy and many other flagship policies of this government ought to go to Parliament. Yes, so that's what he's talking about. Tor assets sold for $22 million.
Not sold.
Not sold. Tor asset not sold for $22 million. That's according to SEMSI. So it's a group. And Baumia mourns with Obi Menu. Yes, Obi Menu lost the father, buried him over the weekend. The former vice president was there to mourn with him. Government revokes 278 small-scale mining licenses. And KGL Group Chair Alex Dade ANED, and quantity surveyors call for enhanced procurement practice. That is it for the Daily Guide this morning.
The Daily Post says GNPC reaffirms commitment to operatorship at second annual general meeting. CDEPP commends President Mohammed's free tertiary education initiative for persons with disabilities. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, it's really a good one.
Yeah.
V. Popo Kwajiman unveils, what's that?
Unveils Feed Ghana.
Feed Ghana. Grow 24 initiatives and Norman dialogue to halt food imports. Okay. We will not tolerate long hair. Education Minister
Haruna
Idrisu issues stern warning to SHS students. This one, I agree with you, Mr. Minister. Yeah. President Mahama launches free tertiary education for persons with disability.
Daily Graphic this morning. Poverty among Ghanaian pensioners high. Very sad development there. And of course, it's down to our saving culture, our SNIT system. Champion of the girl child, Nana Kunadu's lasting legacy. And tension mounts at Paza Senior High Technical School. Parents, students protest 435,000 unapproved fees. 435,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, maybe they've aggregated because how can you demand 435,000 Ghana?
I think that
it's aggregated. Yeah. Okay, and use local language. And that I disagree. I was saying this morning on Morning Star that they say we should use local language to teach our children. Use local language for instruction at basic schools. I disagree.
You know, when we write West African exams,
we don't write in local language.
We don't write in local language. So when the papers come in front of you, you answer in local language or what?
So
unless we do away with the WIEC system.
Exactly. See, our children can speak our languages if we as parents we are conscious.
Make it a conscious effort at home.
See, when my kids go to school, I want them to learn English.
You meet a child and a parent will say, "Oh, that's why this is my child. I'll teach you."
Yeah.
We are hero.
Yeah, so it's been there for a while, but Charlie, I think that I disagree that basic education should be in the local language.
The Chronicle this morning says Brian Shakeup NPP race topples Kennedy in Ashanti leads DMB in Eastern, according to Info Analytics.
Yes, they've released a recent survey.
Mahama tightens news on corruption. KGL chair ANED with Forbes Award. Baumia joins Obingmeni to bury late father in Brekum. James 1:12, blessed is the one who endures trials, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Where dear Brian Dial?
Yeah. The News Center, mining license revocation risk legal political backlash. That's according to an expert. Baumia joins Obingmeni to bury late father in Brekum. Moses Bade in margins ANED at Mobex Africa 2025. Victims aiding fraudsters by unknowingly sharing pins and OPTs with scammers. That's according to Tamaklo. 3.5 million Ghanaians in crypto spares stable coin adoption calls. That is it for the News Center.
The Ghanaian publisher says Baumia sparks delegates excitement. Defense Minister appointment in Tim Fojo slams Mohammed's decision. Baumia mourns with Obingmeni. A KGL boss wins Forbes Award, and then Dr. Baumia's number 3 is large and in charge on the Ghanaian publisher's front page.
The Ghanaian Times this morning, street light crisis. $9 million Temamoto Way road
91?
furniture. 91 million Temamoto Way road furniture vandalized 1 year after inauguration. Darkness plagues major streets. Arterial roads. Yes, Accra is very dark. Too dark.
Yeah, I agree.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, I think, should revisit the promise and the charge on MMDCs to execute. Free tertiary education for persons with disabilities starts next academic year. That's according to President Mahama. And GIPC regional investment roadshows kick off in Volta and OT regions. Reverend Wengam briefs world church leaders on upcoming Global Assemblies of God Congress in Accra. That is it for the Ghanaian Times.
The new crusading guide says from court victory to gunpoint eviction, Rainbow Premier Homes petitions national security over land fraud and armed invasion by one Mamiama. Baumia's Bono and Bono East, Baumia's Bono East and a half for Tor Sparks delegate frenzy. Tor assets not sold for $22 million, that's according to Shamsi. KGL's Alex Apaudade receives Forbes Best Award. Revocation of 278 licenses, mining engineer comments exercise, warns of legal suits and political precedents. Kofi Anum family appeal. Okay. Runs from appeal, I beg your pardon, in tussle over Regimanual lands.
The custodian newspaper, Bono East and a half NPP delegates root for Baumia. KDL Group Chairman wins Forbes Corporate Leadership Award. Plaintiff withdraws appeal in Regimanual Grey Land case. And Baumia joins Obin Menu to bury late father in Brekum. Another promotes literacy in Insaume Dwajiri. Appoint Defense Minister now, Reverend Johnny Timfo to Mahama.
Let's take our final paper for the morning. The Informer says, shun wealth flaunting aspirants, Baumia advises delegates. Corruption fight, AG warned against media and propaganda trial. Minister accuses GTEC of extortion. Hey, wow, that's the Deputy Health Minister.
Yeah, and some letters have also been written to GTEC to inquire about the credentials of Professor
Jinapo.
His boss. Yeah.
You know, we're such a funny country. AIDS Commission decries youth unprotected sex culture. It is
AIDS is on
gradually on the rise.
Especially the young people are being more careless.
Sowing caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Oh, and the final one that was up there, that one I am very much particular. It says, breast milk not for eye treatment. Mothers told a lot of babies who had eye conditions, Apollo, where mothers would drop, breast milk on it. But you know, interestingly, they say that breast milk contains a lot of vitamins and whatever, so nutrients, so it cures, it gives the baby immunity. So
why shouldn't that be from within? Why should it be physical? Right? So like,
but you know, interestingly, the psychology behind it is that it worked.
Oh no, of course.
Yeah.
People, you have eye problem, they say go and look for breast milk. So you moving from one house to the other, looking for breast milk. Just.
But you see, those myths, supposed myths, misconceptions, they worked for us.
Yeah, it's like placebo effect. It's in the mindset.
It's psychological. Anyway, that should do for the papers this morning. I guess we'll join us for the breakfast review shortly. I did this with Ibrahim Alasan. I'll be back. How are we doing?
Very well.
Good.
You're the Nkwache. Yes. How's the campaign going?
Oh, I've actually lost for words. There's been a communique, interestingly, and I was wondering where I fall, because they say you shouldn't talk on platforms, if you're a party communicator about, the campaign. But anyways, mind you, I'm a man at liberty, a libertarian at heart. So I would put on record that I think that Dr. Brian Champong, who I work with, would pull a surprise, and I think the headlines would be against all odds on the 1st of February. Against all odds.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk.
Against
I'm
all
sure
odds.
we'll talk extensively about the campaign later on. But let's talk about the life and legacy of former First Lady, now late former First Lady, Nana GHOne Rawlings. I mean, I remember where I was on Thursday when somebody within her circle told me that she had passed, and I was shocked. Maybe it was not the news I was expecting, because the day before we had seen her out there hailing hearty, supposedly hailing hearty, and the next minute she's gone. It was quite a shocker, but this is a life well lived, I would say. Doc.
Well, my heart goes out to the family. They've lost a loved one. The country as a whole, whether we like it or not, she's been a part of.
Doc, hold on for me. I think that I'm having a bit of challenge with your sound output.
Okay.
Let me come to you, Paul. Paul, good morning once again.
But I mean, So we've lost one of our mothers. One of our mothers, because she was a former First Lady, and therefore a mother for the whole country, and probably by extension, Africa countries she supported. I read a lot as a political scientist about the 31st December Women's Movement and the support that it gave to women in particular and children across the country. I remember reading about the economic empowerment for women in particular, trying to... It's the first time I read about the Batik Tie and Dye, where the 31st December Women's Movement try to teach women across the country to learn a trade, skills, something that they can help them to be self-sufficient. My take was more on the political life, and actually her movements started the mentoring and encouragement of more women to get into the local governance elections. The first time it was held under PNDC in 1988. And it kept going. So when you read around that, you could see the first crop of women who got into the local governance as assembly members were mostly those who were in the grassroots of the 31st December Women's Movement. And also tells you the two key people who held the positions as treasurer and secretary of the 31st the Women, Sherry Aite and Cecilia Johnson, were the people who also became stewards in Ghana politics, the ticket of the NDC, holding so many key positions, including local governance, health ministry, so many and other things. So I think her legacy keeps on. And don't forget, she's also the person who started the daycare. The 31st December Women's Daycare, ostensibly when she was empowering the women economically, she wanted them to have a place to keep their children so they can have the time to concentrate on their businesses. And in my reading, I came across around 870 daycare centers the movement established across the country. So yes, she's done well, and she needs to. Don't forget, always as human part, there could be negatives here and there. That's why it's important in every step you do a learning curve and see what positive aspects we could pick from her. And to me, if there's any monument we can raise for her, it should be something either it's
Women Leadership Center or Women Empowerment Center, either established in any of our universities or even in National Institute for Women Empowerment and Leadership could be named after her to keep her legacy of her seriousness, consistency in building capacity of women to get into limelight in our country. As we speak now, women are still limited. When you pick the entire local government district assembly members, we have just around 600 being women. When you pick 261 MMDCs, we have less than 40 of them being women. When you come to our parliament, the 8th parliament, they were 40. The current one, they are 41.
41, yes.
14.something%. So we still have a lot to do to ensure that send her legacies, the way she started, if we can modify some of them, I think the mentoring, the special establishments of education for women empowerment to sustain our trend to ensure that we keep more women in affairs, I think that will be a legacy we can leave for her.
Doc, let me come back to you.
Okay. I hope the microphone works better now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that she'll be remembered for good, and she's been a part of the political fabric of this nation largely because of her husband. And I must admit that for a first lady, rumor has it that she was quite influential.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that she contributed to some appointments and decommissioning of some people within the NDC fraternity, and was very influential in terms of her husband's decision making. Yeah. And for that reason, I think that we need to appreciate her, and also, to say the least, it was during her time that women empowerment, not necessarily in Ghana, but worldwide, it was just, the Beijing conference, all of those things. So she became an embodiment of what a man can do, a woman can do. And I think that it rode with her all through till her departure. I, on a personal account, just recently was with her at the Lisa Hotel for another funeral, and I didn't think that
would have been
my last encounter. Yeah. I'll look for the picture I took with her to share with you later. But to my surprise, like many others, that she looked quite okay for her age, and she's been petite all through. So it's really a very, expected but surprising. We thought she would be taken ill for some time, bedridden, then maybe depart. But this was rather a surprise to many of us. But we wish the family well. I know Zenato and Kimathi and all of them are, grieving, and I would hope that, as they say, God bless the dead, and Ghanaians, by and large, would be reverent when it comes to stories and things related to the Rollinses, and I would hope that the state would look into putting out some very good books about the family, because they've been a part of Ghana's revolution and democratization. And I always say that in as much as some people may not like Jerry John Rawlings, in the sum total, his agreeance to giving power to Kufuor was very monumental in Ghana's democracy, and should not be taken lightly. Yeah. And for that reason, we would appreciate them. And I'm also saying that her last 2 decades, she was really a relationship person, managing relations with, quote-unquote, people who were politically not aligned to them. I mean, I've seen him dance with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This is somebody who at the time her husband was after. You understand? So I think that her last 2 decades with even Rawlings had been on trying to patch up some of the old experiences that were, in the past. And I'm happy now both husband and wife are together in the beyond. And we wish them well, and may her soul rest in perfect peace.
Dr. GHOne?
Well, undoubtedly this was a shock to the nation, to the entire nation, no doubt about that, because very little news got out there about her ill health. I mean, everybody was taken by storm. But you can appreciate, the level of commiseration and sympathy that went out there when this news got out to the public knowledge. The fact of the matter is that this was a colossus in Ghana's politics, no doubt about that. And as a party, we remember her for being one of the very strategic pillars of the party in terms of its founding. Yeah. And the party did acknowledge this in the official statement that was issued. And that acknowledgement, even prior to, her demise, was always acknowledged. In my view, and this is reflected in the statements of my colleagues, in my view, one of the very profound impact that she's had in Ghana's political landscape has been around her championing of women empowerment and children support generally. And this she did through the 31st December Women's Movement, which was such a very, popular movement across the country. You could see the evidence of its existence, and you could see real lives were being touched, particularly at a time particularly in a country where we are in many jurisdictions very patrilineal.
And patriarchal.
Patriarchal, exactly. And women's place, whether in the home or in economic development is a little shaky. Yeah. And so for me, empowering them with some level of skill, empowering them with exposure and all of that was critical. And we also do know that one of the very clear challenges which she helped to tackle has to do with how the estate of spouses are shared. For me, if you have witnessed or gone through the turbulence that usually characterizes the sharing of remains of estates that's been left behind by spouses, you would appreciate why this particular intervention or law, which she so much advocated for and helped to bring to life, is so very important. And for me, there's a lot to remember her for, even for the fact that she herself took the bull by the horn to put herself up for the promise of becoming a president of this country. Was such a bold initiative. And that in itself, if you ask me, encouraged a lot more women to speak up and to stand for their commitments and opinions, And so for me, there's a lot that this country has to learn from her. There's a lot that she can be remembered for.
it is my prayer that we will take the good lessons out of her life, and that we will also remember her for who she was. She was a very strong voice in Ghana's politics.
That's
and I
true.
think, for me, she did her best in the struggle towards developing this country. And all and sundry needs to acknowledge that. And all and sundry also need to support, the processes of ensuring that we give her a befitting resting place.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about corruption in this country and the cyclical prosecutions of this government goes, and the current administration will go after previous appointees of the previous administration, and it's cyclical motion that we continuously experience in this country, and why we have not seen a semblance of governments in power prosecuting corrupt officials while in power.
Well, I have a very different opinion. The first thing is that in Ghana, ordinary transactions of business, sometimes unfortunately are characterized as corruption. And that is why I have a problem. Okay. And I think that some people can be too populist with regards to normal fees and charges, which are known in the business world as part of transactions. And I say this with my experience in other parts of the world. Government procurement laws, government procurement processes. If you're a procurement authority, I'm just citing as an example, and you do business, and those involved, and I'm not saying that there's a cabal here, but those involved are supposed to have remunerations due to the lump sum transaction, and this is governmental. When that is paid out, somebody may consider it as corruption. But government business is still business.
Yeah.
Or we can cite the likes of per diem. It can be abused, I agree. It can be abused to the extent that people may not show up for a program and get paid. That is unacceptable. But for people to make noise about some of these ordinarily agreed upon payments that people are accountable for, I have a problem with that. And I think that, unfortunately, the political actors drum the message out there and brand things that are not necessarily corruption as corrupt. So I think that we need to be more truthful to ourselves, one, in terms of the correct characterization of things that are corrupt and things that are not corrupt. And I say this with experience on Public Account Committee, where sometimes the claims are not substantiated. And I say this with the greatest of respect to Accountant General, in the sense that, I think that they do Ghana a disservice by quoting big values without the key breakdowns. And I say this because when they state the billions or millions of dollars or cedis, and they fail to say that many of these are infrastructures that have not been completed and are characterized as a loss to the state. But in actuality, the brick and mortar are there. It creates a whole different picture. If you look in real terms, what is misappropriated, maybe in terms of human compensations, and then you look at capital expenditure, you'd realize that, in fact, there's much concentration on capital-intensive projects that have not been completed. And I'll cite the likes of, even as you said this morning, La General. If the quantum of La General's project is about, let's say, 4.5 million Ghana cedis, as they have not completed, any investment that has gone into it will be considered as a loss to the state.
Sure.
But when you go on the grounds, there's certainly something. So I think that we need to, one, be a bit more thorough in doing the characterization so that people do not destroy people's reputation overnight over things that if they did due process, they'll come to a realization that, oh, in principle, in truthfulness, these are known, what we call spiffs. These are known transactional funds. I mean, we can cite, in as much as we may not like our former finance minister, there were lots of noise about in-house transactions and the loan, fees that came to Data Bank. I can agree. There's a whole charade about that, but not all shenanigans are necessarily corruption. And that is my only main case today, in the sense that we need to be more transparent. And when I do business with people, I tell them, listen, like a plumber, listen, what is the actual cost of the material? Let me know what your fees are so that I pay you. But the ordinary Ghanaian would add the labor cost to the material and come and give you material cost factored into it, his labor cost, and say, oh, me age man achel. So that inaccuracy or culture of not being able to charge people for what they are worth is a problem that needs to be addressed. And I think that if government and many corporations in this country do business with you and tell you in truthfulness that, listen, these are the inputs, their cost, the service itself, this is it. And when you are paid for the service, people should not be screaming. You get my point. So I think that I just want to be difficult today and say that, I mean, look at the likes of the Opuni case, 8 years of quote-unquote wastage in terms of going to court, hassling this man, and what became of it, okay? And I must admit that not all cases of quote-unquote corruption are truly about corruption. And I'm saying this based on my experience. And to chop government money sometimes is not that easy. In fact, like the way people say, and as you can see, as reflected in the lives of many who have left government, who cannot sustain certain lifestyles because they had the luxuries of a home associated with the office. Now they don't have it. They had the luxuries of free water bills and these things. So I think that, and I'll use myself as an example. I picked somebody up, and as I was buying fuel with cash, this is when I was in government, this guy didn't understand. I said, but you people, I know you have fuel coupons. I was like, hey, what you hear and the reality are different. I pay for my own fuel. If suppose that I go to MPA and he graces me with some coupons, it doesn't mean that no, it's a point I'm making. You get my point. It doesn't mean that we all have fuel coupons. Or if you're mistaking me for a deputy minister for energy, who I think, by virtue of the office they hold, they may be getting coupons. You understand? So these are some of the intricacies of Ghana politics, where people assume so much, and they think that, oh, this goes with the office, and you're getting all of these things, which when you go in toto, it isn't so. And then a good chunk of our problem in this country also is record keeping. And when we don't keep records, and I can cite the number of government cars that actually do government work and they fail to document. We went from Sefi to, this place, this is the mileage, this is the date, this is the fuel used. When we fail to do these things and the auditors come, then we are found wanting. But in actuality, truly, they drove that distance. And this is why I think that we should push hard on proper record keeping so that when the auditors check, the variance will not be as huge as it is. A project in 2002, as compared to now, if government should go back at it, the variance will be huge because of inflation and cost of material. Somebody will say that, hey, 2002, this hospital was going to cost the government 1.2 million. Now it's 10 million. Why? Somebody is shopping money. So I think that the narrative, and I'll plead also with the media houses that don't rush to break news. Don't rush to break news. I mean, in the past few days and months, the likes of Oral, even Dom Leveau, of all people, have said that, listen, some of the data they got cannot be verified, cannot be attested to. And for that reason, the quantum that has been stated as being corrupt cannot be validated. And this is from Dom Leveau, and I think that even the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, has also come out to say publicly. And I would say that these are men of integrity. Though they are for fighting against corruption, they still have come out to say that, listen, those quantums in the public domain, or what they got in a big chunk when they were doing this non-legal activity of oral, because the Constitution has nothing in it called oral. The data they got cannot be verified. And I think that is the mindset I want to put out there. Not that there's no corruption. There are corrupt deals, I must admit. However, there are also many that when you go in toto, you realize that no, it's not as it seems.
But, I mean, for you, as somebody who is coming from a just ended administration, why does it appear that as politicians, as you are not able to identify corrupt practices when you are in government? Is it because a lot of these persons stay in office for so long? Because if there's an identification of corruption, I mean, these are alleged allegations, okay? If indeed it is proven in court that these persons are guilty, how is it that there are systems that are supposed to check their audit, systems that are supposed to check all these things, but we're unable to identify these things and curtail them?
Listen, I think that, let's cite, for instance, Atuforsen's ambulance issue. I was in government. I was not for it because I felt that a deputy minister necessarily doesn't have the authority and clothed with all the powers to have that transaction go through. So there were many of us in the MPP who were not necessarily in support of the path. We thought that we'll hit a snag, and we did hit a snag. You understand? And sometimes, people want to push politics and, character assassinate you, unfortunately. And they bunch you with all kinds of things, which that's why we're pushing the Attorney General to actually rather stop the noise in the media and then go to court where things will be cross-checked. It is not what your perception is. You understand? You would have professional accountants and lawyers assess the veracity of the case, and not just he say, she say, but go into it and say that, listen, administratively, what has been the practice? what has changed or what changed. And when you have a renegement of an agreement, the consequences and how that becomes corruption or not corrupt. And then I also think that some agreements of previous governments should be binding on new governments.
Okay, like
if we work on that. I mean, listen, our administration, when we came on, put a hold on many NDC programs. I mean, just to be a bit more. I mean, let me cite the Pukwasi interchange.
Project, yeah.
Amendments were done, which could have either raised the cost of the interchange or reduced it, or would have caused World Bank or the African Bank to renege on our contract, which then will create a whole hula baloo. So I think that, and those things somebody will pick on and do corruption. I remember the Swami interchange. We had to, as it is, redirect funds for, I believe, our front planes, road works there to Swami because of the exigence of the times. And the fact that they wanted to lynch the member of parliament. You understand? So would that be corrupt? When it's been talked about, discussed, and sometimes people are just disingenuous. You sit in a meeting with the opposition party, take a decision, they agree to it, only to walk out and go and say a whole different thing. And this happens at IPAC many times. I mean, let's be very, truthful about some of these things. So I think that in totality, and I encourage the diasporans, and I tell them that, listen, the Americans are equally, quote unquote, corrupt. There are corrupt deals in every jurisdiction. Don't color Ghana as being more corrupt. Sometimes the quantums in the US are even in quintillions, compared to ours. So I want to be difficult today, pleading with many citizenry that, listen, our democracy depends on people having faith in the system. And the integrity of governance is not for just you and me. I used to tell the Okujatos and, the Sam Georges during our government that, listen, when you damage your country in the international, circles, you are making it difficult for all of us to access loans. It's not just, NDC MPP. Today, some of the things that the Okujatos said whilst in opposition, now they are taking back their words. I can cite the likes of how they now realize that the LGBTQ bill can impact us financially. Then they didn't agree. Then they didn't want to understand. But these are the realities. And that's why I take problem and I say that you can be opposition, but do it responsibly. Don't say things that will make your country's ratings go from B to junk. Don't say things that will change your ratings, because all these things can really trigger a change in your ratings as a country. And as it stands now, I think that more transparency, proper record keeping, some institutional changes, like no government car should be moving on weekends. Wallahi, you can see government cars at
funerals, weddings, naming ceremonies. Yeah, parties.
If these things are done, I remember in Connecticut, which I spent some time, Friday, all government cars are packed. All government cars are packed. So that 2 days usage by directors and whatnot of government cars, you have access.
Anyway, Paul.
Doc said it wants to be difficult today.
Yes, corruption
it's actually being difficult
corruption-related offences.
Because he's a lawmaker.
And a failure to prosecute.
Yeah, he defines what corruption is, and in supporting his lawmaking and also tracking the malfeasance in the system. So I don't know how he wants to be difficult, because he helped us to define what corruption is. And that's the benchmark we all use in tracking what constitutes corruption and fight. So I'll discuss this issue from three angles. One of which Doc has dealt with decisively. And one of these, I want your topic for today. Actually, I was not going to come today. because I had to pick somebody from the airport, but I had to ask somebody to pick the person so that I can, because of your topic for today. Why is it that we find faults in past administration alone? Why aren't we able to also put in place measures to ensure that our appointees stick to standards that help us prevent, whether it's witch hunting, whether it's character assassination, as Doc has said, whether we not truly investigating the issues, coming up with the actual content or the scale of the malfeasance we proclaim. Why can't we do that? I remember it was only President Kufuor's era that he did put in place the monitoring and evaluation, is it department or ministry, that sought to start something in checking that. Apart from that, all administrations set up some miniature clearing houses within their offices, within the staff house, to clear their people, not allowing the state institutions to do the clearance. I think that's where the problem comes from. And that also, as Doc said, feed into people's perception. And let me read the current Afrobarometer SFs. Because there's people sitting in their houses don't know what Doc is talking about, but they follow what the politicians are doing.
Exactly.
If you bring guns and cutlasses to Wuntumi's house to go and arrest him, people will find out why. If you free people who are standing trial and bring in other people, people will ask why. So it fit into their perception. And one of the questions that we asked in Afrobarometer, what's the government doing? Or do you approve government efforts in the fight against corruption? He said overwhelming majority of people, 82%, think the government is doing badly in the fight against corruption. Where did they get that perception? What we are doing as politicians. As Doc said, it's not only Ghanaians. It goes outside. My friend in African Union, Samuel Atiwi, asked me, as who are chopping your money, then he started giving me the oral lists. He started giving me the so many things that comes up with that. So it's we the politicians who have created an atmosphere that feed into people's perception. And when I go to the Afrobarometer data to you, when you look at the fight against corruption, really look at the charts. From 2002, the perception of distrust in state institutions' fight against corruption has risen from 56% in 2002 to 82% in 2024. Distrust. People disbelieving the state structures, institutions, approach, strategy in fighting against corruption. This is just citizens' perception. Where do they get that? They develop their perception for what they see, what they hear, what they experience. Exactly. So I believe that aspects I agree 100% with Doc. But also, there are standards established, defined by what constitutes corruption. I've been following the select committees on local governance sittings recently, and because I'm a local government person, somebody validated a ghost's name and paid the ghost 22 months. Doc,
when they actually attended the funeral of that supposed ghost.
You see, paid the ghost 22 months. What are you talking about here? I said I developed a paper, and let me tell you, my master's thesis was Depth and the Development in Africa, the case of Ghana. I followed up with a thesis at Wilson Center on Ghana's Auditor General's reports. I did trend analysis for 4 years. And I came into conclusion that Ghanaians lament about corrupt and malfeasance, but there are no strategies to stop it. That was my conclusion. Because every year you see some of these things going on. What I've learned from the sittings of the committees that follow up with the Auditor General's report is that there's a trend that is coming up. They ask people on surcharges and refund, and they say we've paid. But the questions don't go into detail how they paid. So I picked the Corruption Watch. Corruption Watch is established in my office, a small department with some media houses that investigate some corrupt issues. So they did investigation, the RTI, the fines that have been imposed on institutions. And I was looking at the list of institutions that have been affected by the fines. And you can have the judicial service, you can have SHRAJ, you can have police administration. So the institutions that are expected to support us to get information when requested are the same institutions who are flouting the regulations. And my curiosity was almost all the institutions, state institutions that were fined have paid either all or part of it. Then you ask yourself, who paid? Where did they get the money to pay? You see that question?
IGF?
So if police administration said, I was fined by the RTI, I've paid, from which sources?
You don't think they have IGF?
They have what?
IGF.
So was the IGF meant to pay? I was coming back with standards. Was the IGF meant to pay your negligence? Was the IGF meant to pay your... And the person who caused that, what is the query? It doesn't come out. I did an assessment for GIZ in 2019. You know, the police administration put up a 17-point transformation agenda. So the GIZ wanted to assess upon 2 years of implementation what has been the impact. They wanted to assess only on the point of purging the police image. I did an assessment. One of the things that came up that not that the police was not doing anything or punishing their people who flout the laws, but the point was that people don't know what kind of actions they take against the people who the citizens report.
Okay.
But when you look at the list, they were taking actions on reported cases against their own personnel, but did not come up. So people did not think that any actions were being taken.
Right.
So now the police service have paid. From what sources? Is it the IGF? The people who caused the mayhem, the people who caused the losses, what has happened to them? Nobody knows of that. I said this somewhere when we came that there were demolition exercises across the country. I said, well, we pay people as physical planners, engineers. There are people who endorse somebody to go and build in the waterways. We are demolishing a citizen's land. The person who signed, what happens to him? So when we fight corruption this way, we seek to say that you can do all that you want. The state, the institution you work in, will stand in for you. That's the loss that we have in the corruption fight. But really, clearly, there are some things that, as Doc said, we can differentiate between the administrative mistakes.
Okay.
That we can clarify. And there are clear cases of corruption, I've said. If I said, I work in the bank, this is the first time I'm telling people, I worked in the bank for 2 years.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. And I was there, a colleague called me, Nana, there is a list coming. Make sure your office does not, your bank does not accept it. That's the first time I got to know of ghost names. Not knowing that list had gone circulating every month. They wanted a bank to accept it. So I asked details of it, and that was the era that the Apex Bank came in. They sacked the...
How many years ago was this?
That was 2000s.
Oh.
So what they do is, I said that 1998, 99, thereabout. What they do is that they come about 20 newly recruited teachers. They have worked 3 months, they have worked 6 months. There are a chunk of money in front of each of them. So the bank will accept it, open ledger for them. Then later, the state institution in charge will come, you use work check, you clear all, and they give you some. That's what the guy told me. It was the era that...
So then the bank gets a kickback?
The officer who stood it, either the accountant or somebody,
okay,
will get a kickback. That was the first time I got to see the ghost name they've been speaking about. How
and
it works.
And this was way back. 97, 98.
Yeah.
So that's almost about 30 years ago.
That was one of the reasons I resigned from the bank. Because one of them were also managing IFAD loans. So many things I can't say here. I said, look, I can't work here. So I resigned, even though my uncle, Professor Mabudi, was pushing me to come and do my master's. I didn't want, because a young guy who started chopping money. So I didn't want to come. Yes, but upon seeing 1 or 2 things, I just resigned. And I said, look, I can't work in this institution again. So these things have been going on over and over and over. Who gets punished? I haven't heard of it.
That's true.
The people who endorsed and paid, what happens? So if we are fighting corruption, and you say, my last point will be the fact that we over-concentrate on political corruption than bureaucratic corruption. We seem to over-concentrate on that. Yes, we may have one person, and as Doc said, we quote the figure huge. That probably when you go into it might not be so. But we have so many MMDAs, we have so many MDAs. When you put their negligence, their corruption, their malfeasance together, it's more than 30 of politicians who have gone wrong as far as managing. So we need to also put steps in trying to see in the bureaucratic administration, where do we start from? How do we stem the tide? And this all comes with, as I said, corruption is defined. And it has indicated, it has benchmarks. We need to put in place measures to see that. I was writing a paper, that's why I printed this, on corruption fight in Ghana and how we've gone, the achievements, haven't completed. So we need to put in place measures that we can do to stop corruption. Otherwise, it's getting out of hand. And we, as I said, it could get to a point that people may think it's normal. And that's what we thought. Just this school placement, somebody was saying that he was taking 30,000 Ghana cedis to get admission. Somebody said, I don't know how far it's true, but if it is, who is following up with these allegations? One of the duties of Shraj is and they said, upon hearing of it, he says no. It doesn't say that somebody should come and report to you before you follow up. Our institutions must be made to work. My last point is that let's have trust in formal, established state institutions who should deal with corruption and stop setting up a regime apparatus that trace and chase people. That is where people think it's a political witch hunting, rather fighting. When it happens that way, some of us who have interest in the case sit back because we think we are doing a political agenda. It's not a national agenda. So let's stop the state-funded institutions that we form to do corruption cases and allow the formal, established, constitutional mandated institutions to do their work.
Okay. Look, I'll come to you, but let me take this quick break. I'll be back shortly. So the show, this is still GH Today here on GHOne TV, and still the breakfast review. My guests are still seated. Dr. Dixon Adumakukisi, Dr. Dramani Bukhari, and Paul Nanakwabna Mensa Abampa. Paul, you say you were working on a paper. I don't. You obviously have not concluded, but in your findings, in your research, how do we tackle the issue of auditing in our various institutions? Because if you look at a number of the cases, like the buffer stock, for instance, like the National Service Authority, for instance, is it that our internal audit service are not able to detect some of these anomalies, that they will have to take another administration or a different investigative body? Because in this instance, it was the Fourth Estate that detected these anomalies. Why does it have to take a different, something that I've been thinking about lately, before I come to Dr. Dramani?
You bring a different story, very interesting story. That's why I have wished Dr. Odro-Osai, who have been maintained as the Executive Director for the Internal Audit Agency, even with this administration.
Okay.
Because not that he's a personal friend, but I also followed up with some of the structures he tried to put in place to ensure that the internal audit system becomes more insulated from the structures of the setup of the agencies, so that they have the independence, the capacity, and the tools to work independently. As it stands now, most of the internal audit personnel attached to these institutions even take instructions from the institutions. So how independent could they be to be able to do independent assessments and advice for it to be taken? Yes, we have tried to put in place structures that will ensure that things are detected, and their role, they are expected to advise.
Okay.
Even on some of the things that we do. Let me use my current experience with my internal editor, even at CDD Ghana. We're going to do a program in Kumasi, and they brought invoices. The invoices, my internal auditor rejected the invoices.
Why?
Because to him, they did not have the full character of an invoice. What they needed to say, in fact, they have developed specific requirements.
So you didn't have the full complement?
Yes, so rejected. This is somebody, and our internal auditor has nothing to do with the accounts department. He takes the accounts department on. That's what we expect to be established in state institution agencies, so that the internal auditor is not subsumed in the activities and management of the set institution. That's exactly what my good friend Dr. Eric Odro-Osai tried to do, but of course, I don't know what happened that he put in a resignation upon the new administration coming to power. But I believe whoever is taking over will continue from there. Let's establish a true internal audit unit who have the independence, the resources, the knowledge and capacity to be able to do the work of internal audit, so that some of these things are reduced before the external people come to see. So that has been the problem. Yes, the structures are there, but we need to work better to improve their status so that they can work better.
Doc, you're a political appointee, and very often it is political appointees that are on the whipping table when it comes to corruption and corruption-related offences. But why is it that when governments are in power, like your government is in power, we may likely not hear any appointee under investigation or cited for corruption, but the likelihood of hearing that after this government has expired is high?
Well, in the case of the... Okay, but even before I say that, let me start by saying that corruption is a complex matter. Now, it's complicated because there is a perception aspect of it, and then there's the other part which potentially could be the reality. And so if you gather information, that information needs to be synthesized so that the untruths are actually removed from that information. And then just what could potentially be admissible in court is then what is used as the basis of prosecution. Unfortunately, when we get information, it takes time to whittle it down. And so, if that information gets out to the public domain, it heightens the perception of corruption. And that does not necessarily, the heightening of the perception of corruption, if you ask me, it's a certain level of animal that all of us must think about, because there's a positive aspect of it, but there's also a negative aspect of it.
What are the positives?
The first thing is you've heard about this cliche that corruption thrives in the dark.
That's true. Yeah.
If you don't shed light on the issues and get people aware, or at least get people conscious of the fact that they are being watched, the tendency to get into those circumstances are real. So it's important to shed light. But then in shedding light, to what extent do you do it such that you protect the innocence of the individuals involved until they are proven to be guilty? To what extent? That's why for me, and to answer directly your question, why is it that cyclically, when the government leaves and the government comes in, it's the easiest thing to do? Because you see, governments all across the globe are concerned about the image that the public has of that government in power. The more people you prosecute your own government officials, the tendency for people to begin to think that the entirety of the government is becoming corrupt is there. So it's easier for people to go and latch onto other persons. But hey, we are coming to a point where, not that we are coming to a point, and that is why, just for this risk, for the purposes of this risk, anytime a government decides, as President Mohammed's government had decided in the past, to prosecute its own, and I can cite the case of Abu Gapele, for instance, such efforts needs to be highly, highly, highly commended. Okay. Because it takes a lot of boldness to prosecute your own. Because you are doing so knowing that it has the risk of giving away your own government. Because then the perception could be heightened. You understand that? And even that, we have had instances where in the previous government, corruption instances came to the fore, and even utterances from the president himself, the number one gentleman of the land, were vehemently, attacked because they thought that those were in bad light. Because honestly, if you ask me, it is important for any government to show goodwill when it comes to fighting corruption. How do you show that goodwill? It is in what we are currently seeing President Mohammed do. Number one, you are constantly speaking about it, and you are constantly on your appointees on meeting the established dictates of the law relative to asset declaration. So he took the bull by the horn, declared his own assets publicly, gave a deadline to all appointees to declare their assets, and appointees that were not declaring their assets, they got SIGA following up on them and ensuring that they actually declared, published a code of conduct, which code of conduct has been circulated to all appointees. All appointees have been taken to some level of, have been asked, in fact, have been whipped in line to sort of read and know exactly what constitutes unacceptable conduct. You have state institutions that are doing their work, and you don't see, this government machinery interfering with the work that is being done. They have the free will, and OSP we have seen doing his work. In fact, as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
the NPA, as we speak today, where I work, almost on a weekly basis, we continuously receive letters from the OSP. And he's not just speaking about matters of the past, he's also speaking about matters of the present.
Okay.
Of the present. And sometimes we even feel like the letters are becoming too many. But of course, he has a mandate to execute, and he's just doing so. So for me, it would appear to me that under this regime, the state agencies clothed with the power to fight corruption have become so emboldened to do that. And it's all, if you ask me, about the attitude of government towards that canker. So for corruption fight to succeed, particularly political corruption, you ought to see government being very open, in fact, play the advocacy role towards ensuring that, people don't get into that act. Because, I mean, it's enticing, some of the largesse that will come with, having to get yourself involved in corruption and all of those. It can be enticing. And so you need, that kind of advocacy to continue and to be persistent and to be heavy-handed, if you ask me. The other point we need to make is this. We have so many controls, so many. We are talking about internal audit. There's no government agency or authority in this country that does not have an internal audit unit. There is none.
But how come we keep recording these anomalies in huge quantities?
So I'm coming there. There is none. We have anti-corruption agencies numbering about 5 or so. There's YOCO, there's OSP, there's SHRAG, there's, name them, so many of them. There are, several regulations like the Public Financial Management Act, all of that in place to ensure that we fight corruption. The question you ask yourself is, why are we still where we are in spite of all those regulations? And I think it ought to do with people deliberately, if you ask me, undermining those systems. Deliberately undermining those systems. And that's why for me, and I'm going to come to your question about this cycle, and that's why for me, regardless of whether you are being prosecuted, one is being prosecuted by his own government or not, or, at any attempt at pursuing people, on the basis of alleged corrupt acts must not be questioned. On the basis, and must not be questioned and politicized. So we must make frantic efforts at depoliticizing those attempts. Because if we do not do, because once we politicize this, start making statements like it is becoming selective, and the only reason it's becoming selective, perhaps the only reason it's becoming selective is because that government is now in opposition. He had been in a government that's now in opposition and all of that. Once we begin to make those statements, we weaken the efforts in trying to get a grip on the fight against corruption. So for me, regardless of whether it's your government that's in power or your government is out of power, once an attempt is being made on the basis of some allegations, let's allow the process to take its full course. The process to take its full course. Again, you might ask, is it a good thing to be briefing the public about the instances of corruption that are being pursued? Is it? And I think it is. Government has an obligation ingrained in law to be telling the people of this country what it is generally doing around many things, including corruption. Government has. Except that, and I agree with my brother when he said that when we do so, we ought to be measured in not assassinating the character of the individuals. But in what I have seen so far, it's just about putting the facts as they were gathered out there in the public domain without passing conclusive statements or judgment. Without. And for me, that could have a significant impact on tapering the levels of the levels of perception, corruption perception in this country. That could. Because the more information people have, the more information people have, the more they know that something is being done about this. And perhaps the more they begin to have believe and trust in the government of the day.
Now, do you, because...
And especially because of the way that the question is usually asked.
Okay, because
what is being done?
You know, corruption is about what people hear, what they see, on the perception. Now, every now and then we're hearing, oh, there's this happening, this amount of money, that amount of money. But the Attorney General has not gone to court. Those people have not been found guilty. The burden of proof lies on the Attorney General.
Absolutely.
But already he's put it out there in the public. Now, the perception then deepens that in our country, you cannot trust a politician. No political appointee can go into an office, occupy a position, and then come out clean. Don't you think that festers with the corruption perception that we're experiencing? Instead of going to court and then let the court decide that this person is guilty. Then it is out there, this person was found guilty on this, that.
How would you feel, Lily, if you woke up tomorrow and just heard that the Attorney General has, or the courts have convicted so and so of these crimes without any form of information prior to that conviction? How would you feel? And yet, against that, you are risking having the public continuously being on your neck and saying that you are doing nothing, absolutely nothing about corruption. And what makes it even more difficult is the lifestyle of some people engaged in these acts. Because you started or you graduated with somebody from school. You know the circumstances of the person when you were all in school. Perhaps you all got the same job at the same time. He eventually ventured into politics. And just by holding a certain office for 4 years, things dramatically change about his circumstances. Dramatically change about his circumstances. And you do not know. He may have a business, but you do not know that he has. So for me, when those issues like that come, they just need to be interrogated. And they need to be interrogated fairly. And for me, informing the general public about them should not be me. I would want to I like the case where governments are carrying the public with us when they are prosecuting or pursuing persons on alleged cases of corruption, involved in alleged cases of corruption. I like that because I would be shocked, and that's when you will see people actually massing up. Because there was no discussion, nothing was said, everything, and then eventually the person is convicted and they say, hey. In fact, imagine that the court processes were even, not open to the general public and just the lawyers and things like that. And it's the case, actually. Not many court cases are in the public domain. Except the media highlights and put them out there. They are not in the public domain. And so for me, it would have created a very terrible crisis for us. So we need to balance. But couldn't
we have had a situation where the Attorney General has gone to court and secured conviction and come to tell us that, okay, the people of Ghana, you gave us a mandate, and prior to even coming to office, we told you about oral. Now, with regards to oral, these are the cases we've been able to successfully prosecute and secure conviction, A, B, C. On these cases that we went to court with, these persons were convicted, these persons were not convicted. But there's a seeming jumping of the gun even before the Attorney General goes to court. Is that not what it appears it is as we speak?
I don't think so. Because you see, if if you just catalog the cases and you begin prosecution of the cases, and then you do not give the general public on whom, in fact, for whom you are executing that authority, for whom you are executing that authority, that you may only have discharged your duty partially. You may only. Because why? I give you an assignment, and I say that go and execute this assignment, and then you refuse that, you won't give me progress update because there's a danger of tarnishing a certain person's image. There's a danger of tarnishing a certain person's image. You understand that? There's a danger of tarnishing a certain person. So I'm not going to give you any form of update.
Okay.
And then I go through the process. And yet, the persons, in fact, the majority of Ghanaians will continuously be, in fact, only last week, or sorry, only a few weeks ago when we came here, one of the things we were discussing was the fact that the Attorney General was not prosecuting quick enough, because so where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Do you get the point? Where is that coming from? It's coming from the general public, right? So, and you think that the government should just keep lip tight, no information whatsoever, just be in the courts, because, so to speak, that's how proper. We all know, in all of this, we all know that law. It's unfair. Me, I could, and God forbid, I could potentially become a subject of prosecution tomorrow. I could. A person of interest. Yes, I could potentially become a person of interest tomorrow. Okay? In fact, while I may not like the fact that I am being put out there and all of that, there's a duty on the state to discharge a responsibility for the people of Ghana. And the people of Ghana needs to be updated on what they are doing on every single case. For me, as long as conclusive statements are not being made, as long as I am not being determined to be guilty, even before I go through the process, as long as that is not done, I think I would have an opportunity, and any other person will have an opportunity to clear their names. To clear their names.
With regards to the NPA, for instance, I know that it's been very public. Has it in any...
Can't comment on it.
No. Has it...
Works there.
No, I'm only asking...
It's not good for him.
I'm only asking, has it in any shape or form informed how things are done now, so that when you exit that position, you are also not put in public opprobrium?
Well, there are lessons to be learned, not just from the NPA case, but from many other cases that have been prosecuted today. And every public official, you know, who is a watcher, a political watcher, should be minded by those, and I'm equally minded by those.
Doc, you had a rebuttal. Yeah.
So, for me, this Attorney General is Attorney General of public opinion.
And remember, this is not the only Attorney General who is putting out cases. As we saw that in the case of...
if you allow me to...
We saw that in the case of the former Attorney General. We saw that many times.
So it doesn't mean that if he was...
So, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying so. And I'm just saying that it's been part of our politics for some time now.
Okay.
So my key point is that, listen, a few days ago, a number of former current coach of the National Basketball Association in America arrested, the counts for prosecution listed, indictment, everything ready. They are going to court. Okay. What stops our Attorney General from waiting out to do all his ferreting, introspection, consultation, and to come out and say that, listen, I'm taking so and so to court for these things? What stops him from that? You know, I worry in the sense that people have private lives, families, daughters and children, and parents, and you take hold of their houses or house or home in public, and people are at liberty to even go and check, oh, this is that house. I mean, listen, my whole point is that enough of all of this media engagements. Okay. Let's be direct as to why we're taking somebody to court. File the cases, take them to court. Now, if you come and tell me that we suspect somebody of these things and wait for 6 months to then take to court, I will question you that your competence for me, and I don't have the luxury of comparing one attorney general to the other. My key point, I've sat here and said that I do not support the Opuni thing. I've sat here. I also sat here and said that what happened with Atufosin, and this is something you can check on the record, way back when I was in government. So when I talk, I'm not talking necessarily because I'm in opposition. I want the right thing to be done. People's hard-earned reputations are being destroyed. So my key point, the likes of Ijabrin Kisi, who, was appointed during my government period. I still don't support how he, fast-tracked some things, which up till to date, he's not been able to take anything to court. And my key point is that the reason why you should go to court is that you have to substantiate your claim. And if you cannot substantiate your claims, why do that in the public domain? To damage people. And repairing reputation is not an easy thing if you know how difficult it is. So my key point is that, listen, let's be very serious. We owe it to those who are claiming to be corrupt. We owe it to those who are claiming to be guilty. And the burden is always, the burden of proof is always on you who claims that somebody is a thief. So my key point here is that, one, forensic investigations, which falls a bit in the domain of what you are saying, that be able to do thorough checks before you go out. And make sure that your thorough checking is rapid, judicious, fair, timely. The timeliness is where my concern is now. Where, listen, even waiting to go to court can give you a stroke. Because, because you just don't know. And then you see, justice must be served in a very methodological way, which is accepted by all, and the opinion of people should be such that there's merit in what you are saying. Okay, now that you mentioned opinion, in his submission, he mentions that there's some people you go to school with, you know the conditions under which they lived. Now they are political appointees, and you see the drastic change, and so there's a perception. And then the Attorney General comes out to say, okay, these are the things that we are suspecting this person A, B, C on. Doesn't it help us to say that, okay, at least we have trust in institutions and they can go after certain people who have misappropriated our funds as a country? I beg to differ in the sense that, listen, I've told my friends that, listen, I remember an instance of one businessman who went on a birthday private jet under the administration of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. It only became a problem because he had gotten an appointment in government. But when you go back into his private life, before government, you'd realize that the lavish lifestyle was his lifestyle before coming into government. Many a times, people box all kinds of people in the wrong way. And I would plead with you that, this idea of I went to school with somebody, you don't know people that well. And mind you, you could have gone to school with anybody. His life may have changed even before coming to politics, but he was quiet. People have had quiet lives. And I mean, listen, it'll be disingenuous of me to characterize you and say that, oh, now you're driving this because you're working at a media house. I think it's the wrong thing. And mind you, yes, of course, somebody may have been broke, got into law school, finished, and now he's earning six-figure income. You don't know. There are many things that people keep private. I mean, and they have every right to keep private how they, amassed maybe their wealth before even getting into politics.
But
you know?
also, the twist is that when they get into politics, now they are no longer private. Everything is public.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that.
Because now, whatever, they take trips and it's public. They go on holiday, it's public. They do certain things, parties, and it's public. Now, people begin to question, when you were in private life, you were not posting these things. Why are you now posting them?
That is why I'm...
So then it feeds into the perception.
If I may come in here.
Sure.
I gave an example of one individual who, in private life, was living a lavish life, except for the fact that because he was given a government appointment, people had interest in what he was doing, which in normal times, if he had done, nobody would have bothered, except for the fact that because he has a government appointment. And that is why I think that, unfortunately, many Ghanaians mistaken people's lifestyle. And let me share with you, for instance, some people have propagated that, quote unquote, Rock City was government money. But I mean, listen, if you know, in 2008, when he started it, you'd realize that we're actually exiting government. Yeah. You get my point? And he's built it up until we even go into government. So if you track it, they realize that this is not government largesse. Though he has a contract with government, it is not, I don't know even how to put it. It is not necessarily, under even our administration, to say the least, you understand? So I really think that it is unfortunate that we judge people when we become aware of them, not knowing even what is in the back, you understand? So my key thing is that if the general public has that problem, you, the Attorney General, should not be having that problem. Okay. Because you are supposed to be above the public, because so if the public should mob you and say that, Lily looks too good for her work she's doing, not knowing that, maybe clothing houses bring you your outfit and that you don't necessarily buy it. The Attorney General should know that, media houses get wardrobe donated to them. And for that reason, if the public is perceiving Lily to be having some funds to dress so nicely, it is wrong. That is Attorney General. That's what I want you. And you are to educate the public and say that, listen, we looked at the thing, this and that much, based on, this and that. Case closed. Or you don't even come and make pronouncements like the general public. The Attorney General should be above and beyond the ordinary. So he shouldn't be feeding into public opinion or public perception, but rather demystifying. And my key point here is that if he will do it right and know the counts and tell us that, you know what, people thought 100, but we've only been able to do 60.
Okay.
And that these are the things these are the things that will, can be substantiated in court. And these are the ones we are taking. Okay. As for his yacht, his 16 houses that he got before government, we can't touch them. Because it is established that he had them maybe 1996, 2002, all of these things. And listen,
but for others who got these properties when they were political appointees, don't you think that it is important that we critically equally look into them?
Yes, but I think that my key point here, listen, you cannot tell me that everything that Sabiji Mfi is now earning is because he's corrupt. The office he holds, admittedly in this country, might be one of the highest paying offices. So if I compare Sabiji Mfi, who was still given dollars, quote unquote, before government, to now, I'll be very disingenuous. He's a friend to some extent because of politics. So I'm only using him as an example that whether you like it or not, in the past 8 months, if he could afford Wache, now he can afford 10. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
And for that reason, if Sami Jemfi, the likes of Sami Jemfi, buy 2 houses, shall we question it? When we know in actuality his earning or his income has shot up by virtue of the position he now holds. I think we need to be guided.
If the income cannot commiserate with what is the actuality on the ground, don't you think we have a right to question it?
I'm telling you that. No, but do you know Sami Jemfi's income today? You don't. So no. Listen. I'm making a very key point.
But I do
that
not
is unfair.
think. But I do not
It's
think
unfair.
that Sami Jemfi is paid that much to be able to buy a
8
house.
houses.
8 houses.
You don't think so?
To buy 8 houses in 10 months.
You don't think so?
8 houses in 10 months. I mean, then the OSP must go after him and investigate
They just
him.
posted profit of about 8 billion.
But does that mean that is how much he's paid? No.
He literally never managed an account, that was even 1 billion. And now he's managing an account that is 8 billion. And listen, in normal economic management, if you're a manager of a fund about 8 billion and you are paid, and I'm saying this, you are paid about 600,000, then there's something wrong. It's business.
But
let me come in here.
So my key point here is that I think that, listen, look at people's lifestyle, their private work in the past. I used to even travel more when I was
you were in opposition.
private life than when I
you
got
became...
into government, because I was worried that people would say that, hey, this man, he doesn't stay in Ghana. He's always
his constituents don't see him.
He's always out of the constituency. So while I was in government, I was rather very careful about my travels.
Okay.
Now that I am out, when I take my suitcase, nobody
dare
cares. Ask me, hey, he's traveling.
And nobody cares.
You get my point?
To think where you're going.
So my key point here is that I think that the public opinion needs to be managed.
Okay.
And we are crucifying people who privately did well for themselves and are in government now. You understand? And to share with you soccer. If Asamoah couldn't buy shoes to train and got picked and now was signing big deals and people are upset, I'll ask you that you are quite devilish. You are just jealous. That is what I'm saying. Okay. So my key point here today is that, listen, people work in the trenches. They earn something. Yes, government, they come into government and land into major positions.
Okay.
And when they are, living a little better, I think that we should not lump them all into
Lily, I agree with Doc to a certain extent.
You will, you have to.
But that's the essence of the asset declaration regime. Before and after. If the asset declaration regime is supposed to be genuine, work well, we declare thorough, declare whatever we had before and compare it to after, then we can say my brother bought 200 houses, 1 house or 2 houses. He deserves it because even before he assumed the office, he had a capacity to purchase those items, or he had his own establishments that even his income does not match what he used to have. So we need to, in the corruption fight, because we've gone through a hierarchy of cases and also problems, each of the steps has its own antidote that we are expected to apply to ensure that we seal the loopholes. It's our ability to apply certain established regimes to solve certain problems, that's the problem itself. So if what Doc is saying, yes, why must I be jealous of Doc if before he came to the office I knew by his asset declaration form this is what his worth was. And now he's using this. Why must I be jealous? But if I take your asset declaration, I'm not being personal. I know a personal mate from JHS who became a DC and who for what he did and what he was doing before he appointed as DCE, you can't tell me he deserved what he had. How much does a DCE owe? We did a corruption, what do we call it, campaign financing research, and you know the data. How much are we earning as government appointees to be able to match up to such expenses that we make? It could be better be regulated if we have a thorough and well-formatted asset declaration regime published for us civil society to organize, everybody to be able to assess. Somebody will say we are entering into somebody's privacy. Because why must I publish? Doc just said it. That now, I was watching a TikTok and they were showing me the National Signals Bureau's house and the buffer stock mines. I didn't even know where they lived. Some of their properties they acquired. Yes, there's something with privacy and also public life. But all that, my point here is that we need to review the asset declaration regime, make it more thorough, so that it's what people, the appointees, don't even know that it protects them. Some of this, what Doc is saying. So you pick Rock City. Where did he come from? Where is he now? Nobody will make a fuss about that. You pick my brother's asset declaration regime. Before he even assumed, that was his company. That's how much he was earning. He could even afford more than 3 times what he's afforded now. Nobody will make a fuss of that. So it protects the appointees themselves. So I don't know why it becomes a problem when they are failing it. And this the argument was whether we should compare or contrast will not even come in at all. So I believe the structures, the institution and the systems must be enforced to be able to self-regulatory so that we avoid some of these things that we discuss every year.
Let me take your quick comment on discipline in secondary school. The education minister.
I thought you would have given me just a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, first of all, very complex matter when it comes to corruption. Look,
that's true.
It's and we all need to know this. And I'm not sure that this is about to stop. The updating of provision of information to the general public, it won't stop. We have the suggestion I have heard from some cortesses or from some scholars is that perhaps we should get an independent agency which will become the authority to be doing this as we have in the US, where the DA's office is the one that is an apolitical institution established by legislation and is investigating individuals and regularly updating the general public on progress being made around investigation and prosecutions and all of that. For me, it's an important part of the fight against corruption. It's an important part because that in itself, if you ask me, could become a huge deterrent for anybody who worry about their reputation. For anybody who worry about their reputation. So you will watch your decisions again and then, man, most of the pits people fall in, it's not as if they sit down, meditate them, orchestrate them, and execute them. Sometimes it's just negligence. Negligence gets them into huge trouble. You understand that? So for me, that's important. And if the Attorney General is doing that, I think we should encourage him to do so. We should. That's my position on this matter. Number 2, for as long as we are determined to fight corruption in this country, every one of us must be sincere with the observations that we make of individuals. Look, public office is an office of service. And I should carry myself in that manner to the general public. If by dint of my own actions, my own lifestyle, I draw unnecessary attention upon myself, and I become a subject. Yes, and I become a subject of interest. It's not comrade talking, if you like. It's logical reasoning.
Okay.
And for anyone who sort of has integrity. You should be worried about some of those
But you see, where I come in, back to our school thing,
yes,
is that if I'm a very powerful accountant, and then Wall Street Journal will pay me $1.2 million, and you want me to work for government, and you procure my services, I shouldn't be paid too less.
Than what I would ordinarily
Well,
earn.
yes. So
So
that
I'm of
argument
a
is
very
fair.
different
Yes.
school of thought. And I'm even of the opinion that government's inability to attract very qualified people in some of these positions is rather costing the country. Okay, so if you have very good lawyers who rendered the agreement with us and our mining companies, by now the revenues we'll be getting from oil and gold will be heavier than what we are experiencing now.
Okay.
And that's what we are getting with
you know,
Sami
Okay,
Jeffrey
let's touch
we
on
have
this
got
in our schools.
we are getting a lot.
In a minute, then
Revenues are shooting
he's
up.
Not a mining,
He doesn't have to be.
I'm just saying that
He doesn't have to be. He just needs to.
all right, gentlemen, like I said,
My key point is that I'm of the school of thought that discipline is very important in schools, and that whether nappy hair, long hair, curly hair, I don't think there's much to do about anything. Our focus should be on a very good curriculum. Our focus should be on very good placement and discipline from students to teachers to principal and to parents.
yeah.
And you know, I think right now our truest headache is school placement.
Paul.
Yes, when I saw it, I did not know what was happening because I've been seeing it on TikTok, social media. Unfortunately, you explained a bit to me. It just also occurred to me when about 3-4 years ago, we also saw in Achimota the
Tyron Magai.
Yes, and their case so that the school will not accept a dreadlock students in their midst. So, two things here. One, there are petty things that go into discipline, molding kids in a certain discipline standard and lines that people take for granted. And I always say to myself, probably some of us who had those things were lucky because it's sort of help molding us, train us in certain standards that we are now. I remember our house was just, the Anglican church was just behind our house. and my grandmother, when anytime he comes down to Ghana, if you don't go to church, you go and ask the father. And you have a problem. I also attended Anglican school.
I went to St. Peter's.
Yeah. On Mondays, they will ask you to quote a verse that was taught in school. If you did not, you have a problem. We had a teacher who came to inspect your dress, so we need to draw some.
The triangle thing.
Now, so some of these things, there were certain things you cannot wear even to school. Some of these things have trained us, molded us into what we are now. Yes, you may like your daughter or your child to have a certain stylish hairdo to school, but the school also not only teaching the person theoretical aspect, but also trying to instill some form of discipline. And if the school has a standard that we feel when we establish these standards across, we'll have some achievements. And it becomes exception to certain categories of students. They are breaching their own established principles and ways they want to use to train their people. So we urge parents to sometimes agree and support some schools to be able to bring up the kids in the way that we want in future. There are so many things that are going on in our schools that contribute to the indiscipline that we have across our schools. To the extent that now students have guns in their pockets. Students are killing themselves. They are maiming. I saw, I read from one of the northern region schools that the boys were molesting their fellow boys with whips. Back in the days in Accra Academy, the scout boys will come and discipline you, even if you're a senior. So we had a principle that you don't make the campus uncomfortable for your colleague. And they make sure that everybody that comes there is okay. So we need to support our teachers. Yes, there are some teachers who might also go wayward. Some of them having affairs with the students and other things. The GES is there to do that, discipline actions, to make sure that they keep them in line. But we need to support our teachers to be able to bring up certain kids in a standard that we want. We say our kids are the future. of the country. But if you allow them to choose any path they want, we may not be able to fit them to a line, to a standard that we want to train.
Okay.
Yeah.
GHOne.
Well, so let's make this point very clearly. How one dresses or how you keep your hair may not necessarily have any correlation with your performance or mental aptitude. It may not. Nonetheless, it has the significance of, number one, making you an outlier within the environment, within the school environment. And that, if you ask me, could become peer pressure onto other students. Peer pressure. And you know that at those stages of development, I mean, persons are influenced in many ways, many ways. And the school authorities wants to develop a certain minimum standard or regulation that will assure them of the potential and feasibility of what? Being able to have control within the school. So for me, bottom line is about instilling discipline in the children. And bottom line is about forming the values that we deem important in the children in those stages of their development. We all, and today many people sit back and refer to the good old days only because of these rules. Only because there were common rules that everybody, regardless of what society you were coming from or whom you were coming from, needed to abide by. It is that you wear a green top and a khaki shorts, and that's what you have to wear. It is why you wear brown shoe or white kambu, and that's what you have to wear. It is why you cannot wear an anklet or a bracelet, and that's what it is.
That's true.
It is that you must not leave your hair unkempt, and that's what it is. If you want or choose to be in that school, you must abide by those rules. In order that the school, you do not influence persons in a certain manner. You maintain a standard, make things easy for the school administration, to get teaching and learning going.
Right.
I think that's the bottom line. For me, the argument about how you keep your hair, it's a fair argument.
You also be very conscious of the environment in which people have their education, more so than their hair.
No, so of course, yes, we should, but it doesn't mean that we should not also be about the. I get it. So we should also be. So for me, it's about forming a certain uniformity.
Yeah.
You understand that, so that you get everybody comfortable. I mean, can you imagine the kind of influences that people have when they were not checking the kind of prospectus that people brought to school? People bring all manner of persons. They open their show box, and that alone is a certain form of intimidation for colleagues because of the kinds of things they just bring in. It could just be food, but it creates classes. And destabilizes. Exactly. Can you imagine? So it creates, some distraction, unnecessary distraction, and especially that we all agree.
No, I miss the old chocolate, the powdered one, the non-Milo one.
Yes,
I've forgotten what it was, but that one in a plastic thing.
Yes.
The cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder one. Actually.
And commonly, as we all agree that we are molding the lives of these children in those stages, I believe that some minimum level of rules should be accepted for everyone,
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. That's Dr. Dramani Bukai. Oh, really?
Because he didn't get time to do a bit of campaign.
But then again, I mean, we are riding.
Is this the picture you're talking about?
Yes. That was just 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah. Fantastic. Evidence of my meeting.
Oh, yes.
That's my wife.
You got lucky. Okay. Oh, nice. You have a beautiful wife.
Hello.
Producer, we are sharp.
Special good morning going out to Doc's wife. Yeah, we appreciate you for always bringing him to us. Anyway, that's Dr. Dramani Bukai. He's the Deputy CEO for NPA, Paul Nana Kwabena Abampamensa. Doc, I know. Paul Nanakamna Abraham Famensa is the programs manager for CDD, and Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi is a former member of parliament for Anyaso Choma and the spokesperson for the Blind Champion campaign. There's a lot of visibility out there when it comes to the candidates. I'm sure in the coming days we'll talk about it. My name is Lily Mohammed. I am back after this week. Stay tuned in. You're welcome back to the show. This is still GH today here on GHOne TV. My name is Lily Mohammed. Now, Accra, get ready to feast your senses on Ghana's biggest culinary explosion. The date is the 13th of December 2025 at the God Park at Accra Mall. It's an Asanka fair presented by Osei Kromedianepa in partnership with the AIB Network, GHOne TV, Star FM, Kasapa FM. This isn't just a food fest, it's a cultural movement. Tickets selling out fast, so visit www.edianepa.com or star 714 star 70 hash star 714 star 703 hash on all networks. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Fufu Party on a Park 2025. Please make sure you are there if you are a lover of fufu. Now, changing your baby's diapers regularly, especially after they poop, or every 2-3 hours for newborns, helps prevent rashes and infections. Always wipe from front to back, especially for your girls, and clean gently with water or mild baby wipes and allow the area to air dry before putting on a fresh diaper. Wear your baby in Flora Kids baby diapers. They keep your little one dry and comfortable for longer. Flora Kids diapers are highly absorbent. They are gentle on the delicate skin and can keep your baby dry for up to 12 hours. If you want to be a distributor, you can call 0243 033 033 0243 033 033. Now, this year, we're celebrating 60 years of Ghana's very own city, a journey that began in 1965 from market stalls to mobile apps, from notes to digital wallets. The city has been part of every milestone and, of course, every dream of this nation. 60 years of value, pride, and innovation. Rooted in history, alive in every transaction, and ready for the future. Our city, our heritage, our city, our identity, our city, our symbol of sovereignty, the city, our national pride. The official launch is tomorrow, October 28, 2025, at the Accra International Conference Center from 9 a.m. And the special guest of honor, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama Bile, that celebrates the city. It is our own city. Now, let's talk about maternal health. My guest this morning is a project lead with Multi-T Care International, and they are holding a maternal health summit this Wednesday. Good morning, Farouk. How are you?
Good morning, Ma. I'm doing very well, by the grace of God.
Okay.
Hope you are too.
Good. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for asking. Now, Multi-T Care International, what do you do? Who are you?
All right, so thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and good morning to you and then your viewers. So Multi-T Care International was founded informally in the early 2000s, and formally that was July 2019. And our mission is to provide free obstetric fistula surgeries and also advocate for women and then children. So basically it's to help our communities, our mothers, and our children as well. So basically that's what Multi-T Care International is all about.
Okay, and since 2019, what have you been able to do, your successes?
All right, so since 2019, we've been working around with volunteers from a lot of health fields, maybe like, let me say, health practitioners, when it has to do with midwives and also nurses and doctors as well. So with the help of them, we've been able to conduct free obstetric fistula surgeries for 30 women. That was somewhere in WA in the year 2020. And with the help of our sponsors too, that was what we were able to do. And we are still looking at doing more and impact.
What has been the feedback on these interventions for these women over the years?
Yeah, so actually they are really suffering in terms of this fistula issue because it's something that is very serious, and we have to also take it serious as well. So when it happens to them like that, some of them don't really have the money to go or to undergo the surgeries and all that. But Multi-T Care International, with the help of our founders and also our partners, we've been able to gather some resources to help them out with that. So the feedback has been very positive. Very positive.
That's good to know. Do you have numbers? How many successfully you've been able to do so far?
Yes, please. So far we've been able to do 30 30 women, yes, please.
Okay.
And we actually we're in touch with all of them. And during the conference, we'll be bringing them on board. Some will be coming from the northern part of the country, just to also share their stories during the conference. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a good one.
Thank you.
You as you mentioned, you have a conference on Wednesday,
Yes,
the
please.
Maternal Health Summit. Talk to me about it.
All right, so the conference is actually, let me say, it's going to be a big one.
Okay.
Because we're actually going to be inviting a lot of speakers on board. And aside from the speakers, it's something that is going to help and also educate our women in terms of maternal health. And we also use that as an opportunity to launch the Nature Box, which actually... the Nature Box initiative, yeah.
Okay.
So that one will be containing, let's say, diapers and all that, so that right after birth with our women, we can actually donate it to them to be able to take care of their kids and then themselves as well. Yeah.
Who are some of the speakers for this summit?
So we'll be having Dr. Grace Ayensu.
That's the Deputy Health
Minister.
Minister.
The Deputy Health Minister. She will be the one to launch the Nature Box initiative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we also have Ms. Shamima Muslim, the Deputy Presidential Spokesperson. We also have Dr. Khalid Mohammed, that's the MP for Nantong. We also have Dr. Evelyn, that's the Administrative Secretary for Traditional Medicine Council. We also have Ajia Jamila to Ibrahim. She's the Deputy CEO for Northern Development Fund. We also have Dr. David. We also have Miss Efuagati. She's the president of Ghana Bar Association. Yes, please. And the last one is Dr. Paligrave B. Dankwa, who is also a former technical advisor and government spokesperson. So all these people will come on board to share their ideas. And also, let me say, they are coming to groom us, because they are not just coming to talk to us and then go. So if you come, you are definitely going to pick something from the conference, and you going back home, you are going to benefit from that. Yeah.
Okay. So at this conference, what are you talking about? Maternal health.
Yeah.
Or what will be your focus area?
Okay,
on
so
maternal health?
with that one, first of all, let me say the Nature Box for new mothers, the launching. So we'll talk a little about that and also launch it. We'll also talk about maternal health and safe motherhood, which is also very, very important for our mothers back home. And we'll also talk about education and then fistula, which is also very important for us to tackle. And we'll also talk about strategic partnerships for impact, because we're actually looking at, during this conference, to create the awareness out there, so that we can also gather some funds towards our December fistula surgeries here. So basically, that's the entire idea.
Okay, so this Wednesday, where exactly?
So it's going to be held at the University of Ghana Simulation Center. That's the UGMC.
Okay.
Yeah, so 29th October, this coming Wednesday, exactly 9 a.m. So it will be between 9 to 5 p.m. Yeah.
9 to 5. Is it open to the public? Do people need to pay? Do they need to register? What do they need to do?
Right, so it's actually open for everybody to come and then partake. But we have this registration link that when you go across our social media handles at Multi-Ticket International or MCI, you will find the registration link there, and then you can click and then register. But aside from that one too, you can actually come on the D-Day and then do the registration.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you can actually come there at 9 a.m. It starts at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Yes, please.
So it means you have to come there earlier than 9 a.m. if you want to register on the D-Day.
If you want to register on the
D-Day. Okay.
So
how many people are you anticipating?
Yes, so we are expecting 200 participants. That's just the people that will come and then take something from the conference. So student nurses will be part, student midwives, also student doctors, and also senior high school students to be part, and tertiary students to be part, and health practitioners. And aside from the participants too, we've actually invited a lot of speakers as well. Let me say special guests just to pass through, and then I'm sure our midwives and also our nurses, they'll get the chance to network with them, so that they can also groom and then mentor them towards the path of the health. Yeah.
That's a good one. So on Wednesday, we're all gathering at the University of Ghana, 9 a.m. You say 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Yes, please.
To talk about maternal health. It's important that we prioritize some of these topics. So the Multi-Ticket International is organizing this. And is this something you've been doing annually? Or this is the first one?
So this is actually the first one.
Oh, okay, the maiden one.
The ones we've been doing, they are just the mini ones in the north, like the local communities, and not that big as compared to this one. Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So, interestingly, this is an idea, this is a brainchild of one of us, I'll say, because she used to be here Maltiti Saida Sadiq. She's a presenter on GTV, but she used to be here. So she's one of us, obviously, and so it's important that we all support in that regard. All right, so that's Umar Farouk.
Yes, please.
Any word out there to people so they can come in?
All right, so I just want to let them know that it's actually open for everyone to come and then partake. And also I want to just thank our sponsors so much for actually funding this and also making it a reality, like GCB Bank, University of Ghana Medical Center, the Ministry of Health, and a whole lot of sponsors. I just want to thank them so much, and also to my founder, Saida Maltiti Sadiq, and my co-team at Maltiti Care International. I just want to thank them so much for this initiative here.
Absolutely. So that's Umar Farouk. He's project lead for Maltiti Care International this Wednesday. We're all gathering at the University of Ghana from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the Maternal Health Summit. Let's do some celebrations now. Happy birthday to the newest apostle in town, the Apostle of Worship, Apostle Abraham Lamte, founder of Believers House of Worship International. May the good Lord continue to use you as a tool for impact in this generation and beyond. Enjoy your journey on the 6th floor. Papa, happy birthday to you, Apostle. Happy birthday to you, Lambert. May the portals of heaven be open unto you as you mark this new milestone. Cheers to life and live in it. Happy birthday to my sweet mother. You are my greatest blessing and my biggest inspiration. Wishing you endless joy, good health, with lots of love from your daughter, Angel. Happy birthday, Caleb Opokwasari, as you turn 12. All we ask for the Lord for you is good life and sound mind. Love from the entire family. To the greatest man in my life, my source or origin, my pillar and shield. I can never replace you, and that thought won't even cross my mind. You lay down your life so I could stand up in life, Mr. George Atamense Champo. Happy 67th birthday. I love you so much, Daddy, from Reverend Francis Amo Jr. and members of AFCI. All right, so a special happy birthday going to the Deputy Administrator of GIFEC, Mohammed Abdulaziz. Happy birthday to you. He used to be a regular here. We say happy birthday to you. We say God bless you. May Allah bless everything that you touch. We do appreciate you. That's from all of us here and myself. We say we love you so much. Now, the St. Andrews School group of schools are all part of the free SHS program this year. So for those of you who want self-placement, these are new names on the self-placement platform. The St. Andrews SHS in Asim Fosu on the platform is now called St. Richard's SHS. Asim Fosu. The school in Mankasim is now St. Luke SHS in Mankasim. In Dunkwan of Fing, we're now Mount Hebron College, Dunkwan of Fing. In Shama, we're now Golden Gate Senior High School. In New Edubiasi, we are now Lighthouse Senior High School, New Edubiasi. In Sehri Asawenso, we are now called St. Benedict's SHS, Sehri Asawenso. The public is hereby being notified to find the new names on the self-placement list and choose the schools accordingly. Boarding facilities are available and everything is free. You can call St. Andrew Group of Schools on 0244 696911, 0244 696911, or 0207 891004, 0207 891004. Now, for those of you who are suffering from stroke, heart diseases, diabetes, I have a solution for you. At the Roman Way Traditional Chinese Clinic, we provide effective treatment and management of strokes, heart diseases, diabetes, spine, liver, and kidney problems. We are located opposite the Indian High Commission at the Roman Ridge here in Accra. You can call us on 0546 450 672, 0546 450 672, or 0556121863, 0556121863. We work from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. through till 5 p.m. On weekends, we work as well, Saturday, Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, have you guys heard of the latest from MTN? If not, lend me your ears. For those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience. That is the MTN Free After One Extra. Now, tell me what the extra is all about. Let me tell you. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes that you talk, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute, and you get to talk 60 minutes straight with no interruption whatsoever. You like what you hear? Well, that's not enough. You also get 50 megawatts of free data after your first call daily. Every call that you make daily after the first call, you get 50 megawatts of free data. So you see, now's the time to talk extra with all the people that you love. To subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra, just dial *550# *550# and follow the prompts, and then you can enjoy uninterrupted calls on MTN Free After One Extra. My name is Mohammed. Thank you very much for staying tuned. I'll see you again at 11:30 for the brunch time.